something about the wonderful way the sun is coming up today. It's saying everything's alright. I can't believe the way I'm feeling. It's like I'm floating up and dreaming. Yeah, baby, everything's alright. Everything's alright. Oh, I know I can say it's a really good day to be alive. I'm flying away. It's a really good day to be alive. Oh, the sky is blue, taking in the view. I know I can say it's a really good day to be alive. Strolling up and down the sidewalk, and you can see a smile when I talk. Saying everything's alright. I got a home where I can sleep in, a bunch of friends that I believe in. Yeah, baby, everything's alright. Everything's alright. Oh, I know I can say it's a really good day to be alive. I'm flying away. It's a really good day to be alive. Oh, the sky is blue, taking in the view. I know I can say it's a really good day to be alive. I can see the city from my roof, from my roof. Watercolor sky, today is new, day is new. There's beauty all around, it gets me high, gets me high. I'm living out this moment all the time, all the time. Oh, I know I can say it's a really good day to be alive. Can't help flying away. It's a really good day to be alive. Oh, the sky is blue, taking in the view. I know I can say it's a really good day to be alive. It's a really good day to be alive. It's a really good day to be
Welcome to the Inside Pitch. I'm Christopher Lockhart, the creator and administrator of this private Facebook group where screenwriters, creators, filmmakers meet to ask and answer questions and exchange ideas and information on the craft and business of movie making. I've been working in the entertainment industry for almost 35 years. 25 years of that has been in the talent agency business, the last 15 at WME, which is the world's largest diversified talent agency, where I am employed as story editor, which is sort of a development executive at a studio and a dramaturg at a theater, working with A-list actors and writer-directors. I am also an independent film producer and an educator. And so the idea of the Inside Pitch was to bring all of those things that I do to a Facebook forum where I could perhaps ease the treacherous journey through the Hollywood maze. And of course, I'm assisted in that by all of you and your experiences. Some of you are brand new, some of you are steeped in the business, but everybody's pitching in and sharing information. And that's really why I created the group. The idea of the group was for all of us to educate and lift each other as you make these creative journeys. I do not administer the group by myself. I am aided by Steve Enlow, who is a silent partner but works tirelessly behind the scenes. And of course, my co-host of these events, who happens to be waiting in the wings, Ramesh Santanam.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Ramesh. Are we ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're doing today is this is a Logline workshop. This isn't the first time that we've done this. In fact, last year we did something even more intense. If you recall, Ramesh, we actually did a class last year.
Yes, it was
Remember
like
that?
2 hours.
It was 2 hours and we had a PowerPoint presentation and it's on the page. It's floating on the page somewhere. So I don't know, Ramesh, maybe you can find it and put a link in. Or
Yeah,
maybe...
it's in, if you go to the topic section, it's in the inside tip videos
okay,
too.
yeah.
You can find it there too.
Okay, so look for tip videos and
but yeah, it's a great 2 hour thing.
Yeah, boy. we ran that into the ground. What are we doing here today? We're going to be giving feedback on Loglines. And so we're asking all of you, if you want feedback on your Loglines, to drop the Loglines in the comment box below. And if you want to be brave and venture into this little box with us, we will allow you to come in and pitch a logline face-to-face with us. You have to do that by clicking on a link, which Ramesh is going to put in the comment section below.
Oh.
And when you come in, you'll be in the queue and we'll pick you when we get to you. There's no sort of real order to any of this. And but please only come in the queue if you're going to pitch a logline. This isn't a place to watch the show.
Right.
Watch the show at home where you are now. But some people do want to come in and actually sort of pitch the logline face to face. And I think that's great. If you are logged into StreamYard, then I can see who you are. If you're not logged into StreamYard, then you're going to come up anonymous to me in the comments section. Also, keep in mind, please, that StreamYard only allows a certain number of characters. So if you have an incredibly long logline, it's going to get cut off. I'm not going to be able to read the whole thing. Yeah, so we will be putting the loglines up on the screen so everybody can see them, and you'll see how it gets cut off. So my advice is shorten it if you can.
Yeah, loglines shouldn't really be long anyway.
No, and it's like if StreamYard's cutting it off, that's your first piece of feedback.
Yes.
Right. That it's way too long. And by the way, you won't even know that it's being cut because you can put the entire logline in the comment section, but you won't know what it is that we can't see in StreamYard. Just for the record, StreamYard only takes 10 people in the live queue here. So if you're number 11 or 12, you're not going to get in and you'll have to wait until somebody gets bumped out, I guess. If you are in the queue and you come up, when you are through, we ask that you leave so you can make that spot available for the next person.
Yes.
One log line per member today. I know in the past, sometimes, we allow people to pitch as many log lines as they want. We want to get to as many people as we can. and we're already wasting a lot of time with blabber, blabber, blabber. So one log line per person. And also in the past, people will share their rewritten log lines with us immediately after they get the feedback. We're going to dispense with that today also. So really what we're doing here today is trying to give everybody a little bit of a leg up on our contest, which starts tomorrow. Yes. So we start accepting entries tomorrow. And so you're going to know exactly what it is that we are looking for in log lines. And so you'll know right off the bat, if your log line doesn't have this information, that it's probably not going to make the cut. So we're kind of giving you all the secrets here today in advance. That's the idea of this. So our contest, if you don't know, our contest, and again, all the details will be posted tomorrow, so just look for those. But just sort of a quick thumbnail view, our contest consists of two parts. Part one is the logline portion, and part two is the pitch portion. So for those log lines that make the top 5 finalist slots, those writers will actually pitch a more detailed account of their story in this forum here in December. And the membership will then vote. So the membership is involved in this contest. If you're new to this, you're actually voting. While Ramesh and I choose the top 10 semifinalists, it is the Inside Pitch membership that chooses the 5 finalists and then also chooses the best pitch. So we don't have anything to do with who the winners are. That's really all up to you. And so you get to play executive, so to speak. And Ramesh, we have some fantastic prizes. We are still putting together the prize package, yes. So to speak, and the top 5 finalists will get a nominal gift card to Amazon, because this is all coming out of my pocket, folks. And then on top of that, I will read the winning screenplay and give that writer a 2 to 3 hour story conference where we'll talk about the script, we'll talk about the career, we can talk about other ideas they have. Ramesh will read and provide feedback for the second place script. We also have classes that have been donated to us by Joey Tuccio of Roadmap Writers and by my friend Sarah Elizabeth Timmons of, I got to get this right, No Film School, No Trust Fund, No Problem. So those will be divvied out amongst our top 5 as well. And the top 5 finalists are invited into a kind of screenwriting clatch, as I like to call it. It's where Ramesh and me and the 5 finalists gather 4 times a year to sort of talk about the business, talk about their ideas, read some pages, and talk about the craft as well. So it's just kind of a fun way.
They've been fun. They have.
It's been good, yeah. And actually, little, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't reveal. Should I reveal that they're going to help us?
Well,
I guess I just did. They're going to our 5 finalists, actually 6, because one was a team. They're going to help us do some judging this year as well. So since they are very, very experienced. So tomorrow we start accepting entries, and that will be done through a email address, and all of that will be posted in the Inside Pitch. We are using a subgroup this year. We're not going to conduct the contest on the main group page as we have done in the past. So we're going to use a subgroup. You should still get all the notifications from that subgroup unless you turn the notifications off. And you can find the subgroups. I believe you can find them listed in the featured section at the top of the group. You have to scroll through it to get to that. Maybe they're listed on your sidebar. I'm not 100% sure. And but we'll also provide a link to that. I'm getting a notification that someone is trying to enter the studio, but 10 people are there.
Right.
Please ask someone to leave if you'd like the new person to join. So at this moment in time, we have no more room for anybody in the queue. So hold off if you can. I'll let you know, or you'll be able to tell when there are openings, because when somebody's done, they'll get bumped out. All right. Ramesh, do you have anything you
I just want to give a shout out to our 4 tip members who are Austin Film Festival finalists. Anna Lydia Monaco, Lily Gardner, Matteo Mascanzoni, and Mark Renshaw.
All right, very cool. Congratulations. I'm assuming they're going to be at Austin this year. At least they're going to try to go. And I know that a lot of our members go. Austin is soon. Is it this coming week?
Yeah, it's coming this next weekend.
Okay, great. So
week, yeah.
Everybody should have a great time there, and good luck. Let us know how you all fare. And again, thank you to everybody who's here today. Normally, I would start shouting people out.
But we got a lot of log lines.
I know we do. So we don't really have a lot of time. All right. So we're gonna get going, Ramesh.
Yes.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna start at the top
very
here.
beginning.
I'm seeing Julie, and I'm gonna put her log line up. There it is. All right. Title: The First Murder on Mars. Genre: science fiction thriller. Here's the log line. A space-fearing mediator races to catch the killer after the first murder on Mars before competing powers parlay the event into the excuse to end a 40-year treaty and start a war over resources. Okay, so what I would say is there's already a script out now about the first murder on the moon.
Right.
It's a studio script. I don't recall which studio and blah blah blah, but there's like a moon colony, and there's the first murder there. So that you're on the right track. Right. The studio has a script like that, so good for you. But it definitely gets mired down. Yes, Ramesh.
Yes, it does. I mean, the character is a lot like Brody in Jaws. Brody it fears the water. This guy fears space, so he has to go into space to catch a killer.
Right. Which is good.
Good. Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, right. But then we get into parlay the event into the excuse to end a 40-year-old treaty and start a war over.
It kind of gets clunky.
It gets very clunky. It's kind of a mouthful, and if you can find a way to streamline that, I would definitely do that, because your hook of a space-fearing mediator. I don't exactly know what that means.
Right. I don't. The mediator thing also kind of threw me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, is that a cop? I don't know what that means, but some kind of space-fearing detective that has to go on Mars to solve a murder is probably just a better log line than all that additional stuff that you add. So I would at least find a way to streamline that.
I get what she's trying to do, because she wants the antagonist and what the mediator is up against and all that.
Yeah, but I would find a much easier way to
absolutely,
right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
It's
absolutely is right.
Gets too wordy.
Oh, it's supposed to be mentor? No, I don't know. No. It says mentor. Somebody wrote mentor there. Okay, I don't know. I shouldn't read that out of context. Okay, thank you. All right, I don't know who this belongs to, because it's just a Facebook user. Reeling from the suicide of his son, an ex-Marine with PTSD works for his tribe and gets embroiled in a political and cultural fight that uncovers shady business deals, diverting much-needed water from his people to the farmers and millions of people in California. Reeling from the suicide of his son, an ex-Marine with PTSD works for his tribe and gets embroiled in political and cultural fight that uncovers shady business. Again, this sort of gets into the weeds a little bit, right?
It's kind of like Chinatown. Right, it's Chinatownish.
It does sound Chinatownish, right? Which is not a bad thing.
No, again, I'm not sure what the suicide has to do with anything, though.
Because we've got sort of two elements here, right? We have the suicide of his son and PTSD from him being a Marine. So in a sense, it's a little bit of a hat on top of a hat. Right.
But then none of that sort of seems to relate to him uncovering the political and to diverting the water.
Right. Or at the very least, how does it serve as a conflict? Right. How does it make it more difficult? I think again, I think that there's definitely something here,
Yes.
and that it's pretty good, but I just might find an easier way, streamline shady business deals, diverting much needed water from his people to the farmers and millions of people in California. Again, you got to find an easier way to say that. All right, let's go to our first live person.
Ooh, we're going live.
We're going live. We're bringing Natalie on. So here we
Down.
go. We're adding Natalie to the stream. There's Natalie. Look at, she's got a very professional microphone there and everything. Hey, Natalie, you're on mute.
Yeah, unmute. There we go.
Maybe I can do that. No, I can't.
No, Natalie, you're on mute.
Hi, you're on mute. Can you hear us? Shake your head if you can hear us. Okay, I don't know if she can hear us or not. You're on mute. All right, so she doesn't realize she's on mute. I don't think she can hear us.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, excellent. Okay. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you, guys.
Our pleasure. Okay, Natalie, go. You're on.
Okay, we have a half-hour pilot called Knox Knock Nucky. This is about a young woman who checks into her favorite luxury hotel to kill herself, but she keeps getting interrupted in this oddly satisfying, surrealist satire. It's Being John Malkovich meets the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Okay, so this is a logline for a series rather than a pilot or a specific episode, which is fine. And I like the concept, but of course, my question would be, how do you sustain that? Let's say, so like for 5 seasons, you know, how do you sustain what basically sort of sounds like a one joke gimmick, which is that she's trying to
kill us,
take her life, and yet is constantly being interrupted by other things. So that would be sort of a red flag for me. Now, typically, like in the real world, you're not present, correct? So if this were written, you couldn't answer that question unless there was more on the page. But if it were just that logline, you couldn't answer that question. But I'm going to ask you here if you can just, in 1 or 2 lines, nothing more than that, tell us how you're able to sustain this. How do we go to episode 4, 5, or 6 and say, oh my God, why doesn't she just kill herself?
Yes, it's going to be like Orange is the New Black, where you have this same setup with all of these people in the same place, and there's other things happening. There's actually an apocalypse happening outside that is kind of, you know, stressing her out, where she kind of wants to just end it. But the way it's going to last for, you know, hopefully 3, 4, or 5 seasons is going to be that there's an uncovering mystery to sort of solve. And it's going to be, because it's about that analogizing living and dying, finding that will to live and getting to the bottom of this mystery that unfolds. So there's something else happening in the hotel.
Okay. And, you know, we can look at something like Breaking Bad, which, you know, begins with the idea of Walter White, who's dying from cancer, right? And, you know, I haven't seen the final season, but I don't think he ever dies from cancer. So, or, you know, maybe he does eventually, but, you know, so if there's a will, there's a way. So, yeah, I think maybe it might help to even think about a logline for the pilot, because there's clearly a lot that's involved here, right? Like there's a mystery, and there's Armageddon, stuff that wasn't included in your original logline that might help to sort of bolster things a little bit. So it's just something to think about. All right, Natalie?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. All right, look at that.
One of the best scripts I read once for a contest was about a woman trying to kill herself. And it was very good. All
right, well, good. All right, let's go to, let's go to Alexandra. Oh, surprise, Alexandra. We didn't tell you that we were going to.
Yeah.
All right. Hey. All right, so why don't you give us your logline?
Okay. This is for a 1-hour drama. It's LGBTQ and family genres. It's called Blended. And the logline is: planning to move to San Francisco after forming a polyamorous relationship in a small Texas town. A multiracial romantic foursome faces discrimination and prejudice after a lucrative job offer upends their plans.
After a lucrative job offer, they broke up?
Upends their plan.
Oh, upends their plans. Okay.
And you said this was a series?
Correct.
Okay. Can I just hear the first part of it again?
Yes. Planning to move to San Francisco after forming a polyamorous relationship in a small Texas town.
Okay. And then they move, and then
do they actually move to San Francisco? Oh no, so they're still stuck in Texas.
Yes, because of the job offer.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to offend anybody who's in Texas, but that makes it harder for them, correct, than if they were living in San Francisco. Yes?
That is correct, yes, because they are exploring the LGBTQ world. They're discovering that they're queer, and Texas is not the most queer-friendly state.
Correct. Okay. Are you in Texas by any chance?
I am not, but I'll be at Austin Film Festival next week.
Well, there you go. So those of you going to be there, look up Alexandra. All right, Alexandra, I think it sort of sets the stage for a potentially interesting series. We have 4 characters. You chose sort of maybe not to lean into one, but that's okay because a lot of series work that way. A show like Friends, for example, and yet you conjoin them by telling us that they're in a polyamorous relationship, and so in a sense it almost makes them feel like they're one character. So I think that was a good thing to do. So I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
All right.
I can see the conflict.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
What happened for a series?
Yay, thank you.
All right, Alexandra. Good luck and have fun in Austin.
Yes, I'm actually pitching this one for their pitch contest.
Oh, good luck.
Very good. Let us know how it goes.
Yes, good luck.
All righty. Bye-bye. See, who knows? Maybe,
more power to her.
Maybe we helped. All right, let's go. I'm just moving down this list. Sometimes this thing gets bumped around a little bit.
Yes.
All right. Genre, dark comedy. A lonely widow decides to surprise her family by inviting a homeless person for Christmas lunch. So this is a little bit like that Gary Cooper, Barbara Stanwyck movie. Remember that? What was that?
Yeah.
Christmas in Connecticut. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Did they remake that? A lonely widow decides to surprise. I hate the word decides.
Right.
In a
surprise
in a logline. But anyway, a lonely widow decides to surprise her family by inviting a homeless person to Christmas lunch. But the poor man is not what he seems, and Christmas turns into everyone's nightmare. Okay, so you just have to tell us why he is what he is. Seems well. Here's the thing. Do we know what he is? Do we know what he is in the first act? If we don't know what he is in the first act, then you shouldn't tell us.
Right.
If because that might be a twist, let's say. But I'm always, these loglines are always dubious because
it's the writer trying to hold on to something, like I don't want to reveal this thing.
Right. And again, remember, a logline basically contains first act information only. And so if that reveal comes at the end of the movie, then you wouldn't put it in the logline. So that remains to be seen. But like we've seen these kinds of things. There was that Ben Affleck Christmas movie. I don't remember what that was called.
Yeah.
I think Ben Affleck was in that.
He did one.
Yeah, where like he goes to he pretends to be he pretends to be somebody that he's not, or something like that. So I don't exactly recall what that is. But
remember the other one, Down and Out in Beverly Hills?
I do, with McNulty, right?
And Richard Dreyfuss, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of my life story, actually, because I am down and out in Beverly Hills. So I would say that this has potential, and because we've seen this kind of thing before, it's not particularly new. And but for me, the whole thing rides on
the poor man
guy really
not what he
is. Yeah. And so for me, like if this came into my office, I just might be like, I don't know if I want to take a chance. Like, I don't know if I want to have to send out a release form to this writer, which means that like I have to send the query to business affairs. Business affairs has to draft up a release form. I have to send the release form to the writer. The writer has to sign the release form, send it back to me, and then I have to read the script, take 2 hours out of my life. I don't know if I really want to do that without knowing this piece of information. And again, if it's a big reveal at the end of the script, I understand why it's not here, but that doesn't help me as somebody who's trying to determine what it is that I might read or not read. But for the contest, maybe my standards aren't quite as tough. But so at any rate, this could work. So that's what I'll say about that. You have any?
No. There are people still looking for this link because they don't want to scroll. Here we go. Yeah, I just posted it again.
Oh, the link for coming in live?
Yes.
Okay. All right. This is called Lunatic Fringe. A year after the kidnapping of her best friend, a troubled teenage girl navigates the strange and mysterious residence of a rural Pennsylvania campground for the source of a demonic evil stalking her family. Okay. It seems odd that her best friend is kidnapped, yet the evil is stalking her family.
That was my thing too. Yes.
Yeah, like shouldn't her sister be kidnapped or something like that?
Yeah.
But whatever. So
I'm assuming this evil is the one that kidnapped her best friend.
Well, that's, or at least sort of. It would have to be an adjunct, like they would be like like acolytes of
exactly
evil,
right? As opposed
apostates of the demonic evil, so to speak. So so look, when we talk about loglines, and maybe I just should have done this in the beginning, which I didn't do, shame on me. When we look for loglines, right, we're looking for who is the protagonist, what does the protagonist want, and what stands in the protagonist's way. So this is what we're going to be looking for in the logline contest.
Yes.
Who is the protagonist? What does the protagonist want? What stands in the protagonist's way? And I'll say, so far, the loglines that we've seen and heard have all, for the most part, maybe not with full force, but have at least
some of these elements. Have these elements.
Right, exactly right. And so that is what we're looking for. Who is the protagonist? What does the protagonist want? And what stands in the protagonist's way? Intention and obstacle. Right. Now, of course, I just lost. I shouldn't have done that because now I just lost that where I was. So I'm just.
The last one we did was the campground.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find that. Here we are. Okay. So do you have anything else you want to say about that?
No, the only thing was, why it's a best friend and not someone who is, I get it, unless she's an only child and, whatever, but I still,
Well, if she's an only child and she doesn't have a family, right? Rural Pennsylvania, a little bit Night of the Living Dead there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, I know rural Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think it works.
Right.
So
I've been to those campgrounds.
So good job. Good job. All right. Working title, Rental Mom. Okay. Here's a logline. Single, successful, middle-aged woman finds herself fostering a 17-year-old senior high school student destined to deliver the town's first baseball state championship in over 20 years. All right, single, successful age mom finds herself fostering a 17-year-old senior high school student destined to deliver the first baseball championship. So I think my initial feedback is right. So she's fostering the 17-year-old, but it's the 17-year-old who really kind of has the mission here, right?
Right.
Right. Am I right? Because it's not like she's going to coach.
Exactly.
Right? Maybe she is, but that's not what the line is.
It's like The Blind Side. Was it the Sandra Bullock film?
It was The Blind Side. Yeah.
The Blind Side.
Yeah, but that was football, right?
Yes.
I'm trying to think if I ever saw that movie. What does she do in that movie? What is she just trying to like
She-
save the kid or something?
Yeah, and then he become
Yeah. All right.
It has a white savior thing to it.
Okay. So I'm not exactly sure what the middle-aged woman is doing in this movie. She's
That was
fostering a 17-year-old senior. I don't really know what that means. So are we seeing scenes where she's feeding him and putting him to bed and giving him bath towels and taking him to the dentist? Like, I don't know what it means.
I think
So
the story is the 17-year-old kid.
it seems, like it, perhaps, at least the way this is written. So yeah. So for me,
Right.
I'd say that this baseball story strikes out. All right, it doesn't strike out, but maybe it's like it's only like a single or a double. So I would figure out a little bit more about this.
It doesn't make her active. It's just fostering is not active.
And well, it is active in a sense, but not necessarily a cinematic sense, because we don't know what.
No, it's not cinematic.
Right, exactly. All right, let's go to eyes are bad. We're going to go to Aliki, if I'm saying that right.
Oh.
Aliki.
Oh, I thought the person's name was Isabad.
Oh. All right, let's see. Screenlink. I don't know what this is all about. Hey, Aliki, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Nice to see your UPC symbol or UCP.
I don't know why that happened.
A QR code. There's a QR code.
Okay, that's what it is. Sorry. Something. Who cares? We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Tell us your log line.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you very much for all of this. This is very exciting for me here in Greece.
Wow, nice. Greece. We go together.
Okay. My log line is for the story called Mia in Cyprus. Mia meaning missing in action. And the log line is a Greek soldier is captured by Turkish soldiers, and he's put in a high security prison in Turkey, and he must find his way out of there.
Okay, so he's a POW and he needs to escape.
Yes.
Okay, I would certainly, to find his way out of there certainly isn't a particularly powerful choice of words, right?
Yes, yeah, so I'm sorry. But
okay, escape sounds a lot more exciting, right?
Okay.
So, so just always kind of think about those things, right?
Yeah. Yes, of course.
All right. I mean, it's pretty kind of simple.
It's a very simple, yes.
Yeah, like my question might be, what's the difference between this and Chuck Norris in Missing in Action or something like that.
Okay, well, this is basically this Greek soldier had been discharged from Cyprus. He had completed his military service and had been discharged from Cyprus and was on his way home back to Greece when the ship turned around in the middle of the sea because the Turkish invasion had begun in Cyprus in 1974.
Okay, so Aliki, let me interrupt and just remind you that in a log line, you don't have the benefit of telling us this, correct?
Yes, I realize that, yeah.
So that's something that you have to consider, right?
Yeah.
So it's like when you're writing a log line, you have to think, okay, how can I make this as interesting and as exciting as I can? Because the minute that the writer has to sort of go outside of the log line to start to try to make it sound more interesting, that's a problem for the log line. Okay. Because ultimately, when you send out a log line, that's all you've got. That's all I'm looking at. I'm only looking at the log line, right? And I do not get the benefit of having the writer live with me to answer questions. And so that's what you need to think about. Okay. Because again, remember, it's not just about me. It's not just about the contest. This is about anything. This is about sending it to a manager or sending it to a production company. Why is somebody, when they hear that log line, going to say, wow, I want to read this?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So that's what every log line needs to do.
Okay.
So look, you certainly have all the right elements. I know who the protagonist is. I know what the protagonist wants. I know what stands in the protagonist's way. You just want to create a log line using those 3 elements, but make it unique, make it sound unique, and make it sound exciting. All right?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Greece.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Look at this, Ramesh. We are around the world.
Exactly.
That is amazing. We are
We got
around
people
the
in
world.
Greece listening in Greece.
All right, Robin, I'm bringing you up on screen. I know Robin. Robin's my friend.
Hey.
You know Robin,
Hey,
right?
yes,
Ramesh?
I know Robin very well. Hey, Robin.
Good morning.
She's from
Morning.
your neck of the woods. Now, are you
Yeah.
in Pittsburgh now? Where are you?
No, I'm in
where
Los
are you?
Angeles.
You
She's
are
in
in LA.
LA.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
well, you know, what do you think? Like, you know, I hire a private detective to see where everybody is? What do you think? I'm like stalking the woman? All right.
Maybe.
All right. But only because you sent me an email and you said, oh, you know, maybe we can meet in the spring. And I was
You
and
said
so
you had more time in the spring last time I
Oh,
spoke to you.
listen, I don't listen to anything that I say. And I was just like, the spring, what is she, you know, like a locust, you know, like she only comes out every, like, you know, X amount of years or something?
I'm totally a locust. That's a good comparison.
All right, cool. All right, Robin, go ahead. Shoot.
So this is the series Logline for my hour-long drama Biogenesis. It's in the vein of Ozark meets Altered Carbon. An ambitious biochemist must turn the tables on the hacktivists who use her cutting-edge medical devices as murder weapons, while also outmaneuvering her duplicitous husband and the FBI.
Okay, can you just tell me one more time what it is that she's doing? Because there were some big words in there.
Yeah.
So just like read the first half again.
An ambitious biochemist must turn the tables on the hacktivists using her cutting-edge medical devices as murder weapons.
Okay, and just very quickly in like a sentence, what are her medical technologies that they're using?
Right.
The main one in here is a combination cardioverter, defibrillator, pacemaker that's implanted directly into the heart muscle and can be wirelessly controlled by physicians.
Okay, so then they can just give people heart attacks. So like if
Essentially,
Joe
yes.
Biden has a pacemaker, you know, they can like zap him to death or something like that.
Essentially, exactly.
Okay, all right. I sort of, if you could find a way to say something like that, to put that in the log line in 3 words,
Right.
you know, rather than the way you have it now, which is a little vague, and maybe just make it a little bit more specific, that might make it a little more intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, we can use our imaginations, but sometimes you shouldn't leave things to imagination. You know, a lot of executives, they don't have any imagination. That's why they're executives. That's why they're working in Hollywood, because they have no imagination. And but otherwise,
yeah, if it's like
yeah.
that, there are, you know, heart devices that can be, you know, remotely controlled. That's a lot more exciting and to me than the vagueness.
Yeah,
Cool.
It sounds a little more interesting. But you know, overall, who's the protagonist? What does the protagonist want? What is the protagonist? What stands in the protagonist's way? I can see it all.
Right.
See it
And
all.
is a husband part of the member of the bad guys?
He's a bad guy in his own way. He is not a hacktivist. Her lover is a hacktivist.
Oh.
Okay, very nice.
There's
And
there.
and you said this is a series.
Yes.
So you see this as like a limited series, or you see it as going on for?
No, I can definitely get 2 to 3 seasons out of this without a problem. It's definitely streamer.
Okay. I would say that to me, sort of offhand, it sounds like a feature.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you know, it sounds like it could be like, you know, Robin Cook's Coma, you know, or something like that. So I would just sort of think about sort of the scope and the breadth of it, because it really, like, this could absolutely be done as a feature.
Okay.
And so you want the listener, and again, this is just sort of advice for the real world, to be able to read that or hear that and think series, because I think you don't ever want anybody to say, oh yeah, you know something, maybe that could be done in 2 seasons. But to me, it sounds like it could be done as a feature. because I think you really want to hear the idea and say, yes, this should be a limited series. Now, look, that doesn't always work. Like I'm on episode 4 of The Watcher, which is on Netflix right now. And if you hear that pitch, it really sounds like a feature, right? But it's Ryan Murphy. He's got like a blind deal with Netflix. He can do whatever he wants to do. So, and they're stretching it out, and it's fun. But it really probably could have been done also as 120 pages. But at any rate, good job.
Thanks, guys. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
Thanks, Robin. You too. All right, I'm going to bring up one more. Tim. Tim is coming up. Here's Tim D.
Oh boy.
There you are. Look at this. Everybody's got like the microphones, and you got like the green screen, Ramesh. I use this like old-fashioned thing. I don't use any green screen. Yeah, you have to look right into my janky place. Anyway, Tim, go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh,
Yes.
Loud and clear, Tim.
Great. My feature is 20 Lashes. As Hurricane Katrina slams into Louisiana, a black lawyer from New Orleans drives deep into the Atchafalaya backwater to ride out the tempest with his stubborn father and the patrons of his dilapidated all-black juke joint, just as a Klansman barges in to buy drinks for everybody so he can tell his story.
Okay, so I think sort of as a log line, it starts off okay, and then you kind of detour, I think, sort of outside of logline territory. Okay. So again, who is the protagonist? What does the protagonist want, and what stands in the protagonist's way?
Right.
And so here it's like, you've got two antagonists, right? You've got the KKK guy and you've got the hurricane, but they feel very unrelated. So like if you look at a movie like Twister, you have the Twister, the natural
antagonist.
Thank you. And then you have, is it Carrie Elwes maybe?
Yes, exactly.
Who is the bad guy, but he is very related to this world, right?
Twister,
because he's
right.
a rival tornado chaser, right? So and of course in these kinds of movies, you often will have two kinds of antagonists, right? You'll have the natural antagonist, like in a disaster movie. You'll have the earthquake, and then you'll have the bad, or like let's say Jaws, right? Where you've got the shark and you've got the mayor. But again, very, very closely related, right? Because the mayor is trying to keep the beaches open, right? And so here, I'm not exactly sure what's going on, because the protagonist leads them to safety, but then they're at a bar, and then some KKK guy comes in and starts talking to them. I mean, that's what it sounded like.
Right. When you say his story, do you mean the Klansman wants to tell his story?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, and is that done in the first act?
No, actually, it's done in the third act, and it turns out he is not a Klansman. He's actually there trying to alleviate white guilt.
Okay, so I would say is again that that a log line encompasses first act information only. Who is the protagonist? Right. What does the protagonist want? And what stands in the protagonist's way? So if this Klansman comes up and starts to tell a story, and that's third act, it doesn't belong in your log line.
No, I'm sorry. He does come in the first act, but
no, I understand he does. But when does he start to tell his story? That was the specific question that I asked.
Oh, yes, and that would be in the first act.
Oh, okay. So he starts to tell a story in the first act.
Yes.
So then whose movie is this? Is it the guy that you started with, or is it the KKK guy's movie? Right.
It's
all right. Okay. So listen, let's say that you're watching Jaws. Okay. Have you ever seen the movie Jaws?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And so, girl gets killed, the sheriff has to stop the shark. He brings in all these people. And then you bring in a KKK guy on the middle of the beach who says, wait, stop everything. Let me tell you my story. You'd walk out of that movie, right, Tim?
Probably not walk out, but I wouldn't be happy.
Okay.
Right.
And so my question is why should we be happy here?
Well,
Because you haven't. The log line doesn't tie the things together. It feels very disparate. You start out with sort of a very basic kind of story, right? And something there is a script that's been making its way around town for a long time. I don't know if it'll ever get made. It's based on a true story. It's called American Can. And it's the true story of this black guy living in Louisiana during Hurricane Katrina. And he needs to save a bunch of people that are stranded in the American Can building. All right. And no KKK guy comes in to tell his story. It's like a straightforward, very exciting, actually, sort of action disaster movie that's based on truth. So here you really sort of the log line throws me for a loop because there's no real cause and effect. If the KKK came in to make their escape from the storm harder, then I would totally get that. That would be fine. But for you to then tell us that the story literally stops for him to tell his story, that really throws a monkey wrench into the log line, because at this point then I don't really know whose story it is or like what's happening. Do we literally stop the whole storm stuff? Do we go back to I was born in 1971? I mean, his story about what? His story about escaping from the storm, or his true story of how he's not in the KKK, which has nothing to do with our protagonist, or his escape from the storm. So that's sort of, if I read the log line, those are the things that I would be thinking.
Okay.
All right. And again, it's like, yeah, you might be able to say, well, Chris, you don't understand this, you don't understand that, and there's this and there's that, and there's this and there's that. And maybe you're right. But the problem is that when you send me that log line, that's all that I have. That's it. Got it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
All right, Tim. Thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you. All right. Let's move on. Interesting. So again, cause and effect in a log line, very important, right? Cause and effect. A log line is very small. It's very quick. It's very short. So you're basically setting up and paying off, setting up and paying off, setting up and paying off in your log line. You don't want to set something up, pay it off, and then set something up again.
Right. The Klansman coming in there really.
Yeah, it just
throws a wrench into the things.
It's just not the forum for it. All right, Glenn. Virus and the Irregulars, Intergalactic War. Is that the full title?
I guess.
Okay. A hero leads a courageous group of humans and aliens against a technologically superior intergalactic horde. This is a year-old anime in the vein of CGI. He-Man does to sell toys. First story I told is okay. So just keep in mind that this would be more of a pitch, right? It's not a log line. You would not include in the log line anything TV7 and beyond. A log line is not a place where you editorialize. You just simply give us the information. I always sort of feel like when somebody's compelled to do that, they sort of feel like, oh, my log line is skimpy, or my log line doesn't really sound all that interesting, or it just sounds like everything else. And so let me at least try to differentiate it with other stuff.
Right. It's designed to sell toys and.
Right. Exactly. So you're trying to get us excited about that.
Right.
And I mean, everything's designed to sell toys, like I get it. So a hero leads a courageous group of humans and aliens against a technologically super intergalactic horde. All right. And this is a TV series, right? So, it's a series log line. And so, I mean, it's fine. Again, we've seen it a million times. I wish that there was something more interesting. maybe again, it's like always think about the people that you're putting in your story, right? So like if you're sending a character to space, maybe you make them afraid of space. Right. So immediately we see conflict. And just makes it a little bit more interesting. It's ways to make things a little more interesting.
Right.
So,
and here it's the hero and the group of humans are courageous. And so it's all sort of gung-ho, which is fine, but
yeah, because it's a kid show,
Right.
So like I get it. But it's not like it says cars transform into robots, which is interesting and different and unique
Right.
at that time.
Right.
And so that's kind of what this for me is missing. It's missing that hook, that Transformers hook, so to speak. All right. Let's move on. I'm only taking one log line per person. Let me see this one here. A group of alien monsters open a nightclub at afternoon tea solarium and pose as an extended human family to experience life and report back if future colonization of Earth is feasible, until their human spirit suppliers threaten their mission by attempting to reveal their secret and expose them as alien monsters. So it's a little bit like that third rock from the sun, right? And my question would be, is this for a TV series or a feature? Because this could very well be a TV series, because I'm thinking about Third Rock from the Sun.
Right. And there was a short-lived ABC series, I think it was called Neighbors, where a group of aliens live next door in suburbia.
All right. So, again, this sort of might be a little wordy.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. I would just always try to find a way to combine words, use synonyms. I'm not going to do that now, but if I took 5 minutes, I could find a way to probably knock off at least 10 words from this. So, maybe, for example, you don't need afternoon tea solarium for the sake of the log line. Maybe you could just say a group of aliens open a nightclub. Maybe that's just enough for the log line. Because that is a lot of information to process. But overall, I can see the potential in it. Human spirit suppliers threaten their mission by attempting to reveal their secret and expose them as alien monsters. They're human spirits. So does that mean that the aliens are inside of humans?
I'm guessing they show up as human beings, and so.
Okay. All right. So I don't know what that looks like. Is it like what's the movie with Tom Hardy, Venom, where they're talking to each other, and does the alien come out, and blah blah blah. So I don't exactly know what that looks like, but that's not necessarily a red flag. I think it's okay. Again, I would just try to make it a little less wordy, is what I would do. All right. Aboard a religious interstellar ark where passengers have attained a form of near immortality through clone. By the way, I just want to say, like, overall, I kind of think these log lines are better than ones that we've seen in the past in these forums. Yes or no?
Yeah, there are a lot of sci-fi.
Yeah. All right.
A lot of sci-fi.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Okay. Aboard a religious interstellar ark where passengers have attained a form of near immortality through cloning and memory transfer, a shunned outcast must seek out his older self's murderer and unravel the deeper conspiracy it was meant to cover up. All right, so there's a lot of stuff here to process. I mean, clearly, I like the idea that must seek out his older self's murderer, because there's this nice sort of built-in ticking clock, right? That, he needs to sort of solve this before he gets murdered. I kind of like that. Of course, I'd like it more if it were compressed, right? I mean, it would be more interesting if
there's a lot going on in it.
There's a lot going on, but I would like it more if he were, going to be murdered next Thursday, or something like that, rather than 20 years. But there's a lot going on here. So find a way to streamline. Aboard a religious interstellar ark where passengers have attained a form of near immortality through cloning and memory transfer. Because ultimately, the idea of cloning and memory transfer, I don't see what that has to do with
because
seeking-
the goal is to find the older self's murderer. That's the
correct. That's right.
that's the
And
guy's
so
goal.
and I'm not sure how all this other stuff plays a role in that. So maybe that can be worked out a little bit. But overall, you know, I like kind of the central concept. I mean, it's not new. You know, we've seen this kind of thing before in one way or another, but
Right.
I like it. Sky Princess, this is a thriller. A spoiled teen must use her wits to survive violent weather and vicious thugs when the hot air balloon she boards to cure her acrophobia is hijacked by diamond thieves making for the border. All right, so I'm assuming this is like a contained thriller where it's
Right.
all set in a
hot
air balloon.
Yeah.
To me, you know, I'm trying to think if I've seen anything like that before. I kind of like that.
I like the hot air balloon aspect a lot.
I do too. And, you know, trying to sort of, you know, how do you sort of keep this thing going? I mean, maybe they land once or twice. I think of like Passenger 57, where they do have sort of,
Right.
there's like a midsection, you know, where the plane lands and they go.
Con Air too, they keep
Con
landing.
Air does the same thing, right? So, yeah. So as long as you keep going back to the balloon.
Because it's a really small space.
It's a really, really small space. And so these things for me, I'm always curious about these things. So it's like, for me, it's always, gee, I'm curious to see how the writer sustains this.
Right. I want to read it just to see how they pull it off.
That's exactly right. And if that's the motive for somebody saying, I want to read your script, then I think it's great. So yeah, I think it is potentially interesting. Where the Tumbleweeds Roam. It's a buddy comedy. Here's the log line. A charismatic thrill seeker and a timid photographer discuss modern life, pop culture, and magic with a whimsical nomad woman while attempting to film an amateur travel blog and recover their lost drone in an isolated desert playground. Didn't we hear something about somebody trying to recover a drone? I remember just hearing that pitch from somebody somewhere recently.
They may have posted this on the page.
Okay, there we go.
It looks big.
All right, so you know, it sounds very talky, right? When
it's very talky, and they're sort of listing all the things they're discussing, you know.
Yeah, and you know, look, I mean, if you were to write a log line for My Dinner with Andre, right, you know, but you know, I would say that you know, if you're gonna make My Dinner with Andre, you need to crowdfund for that, because nobody's going to give you money.
And also, if it's this talky man, the dialogue better be good.
Exactly. That's very, very true. So, you know, sort of all of that aside, this whole discuss modern life. I mean, again, it's you know, boring. But there's a whimsical nomad woman while attempting to film an amateur travel blog and recover their lost drone. Of course, you know, there's all kinds of questions. What's at stake? Like, okay, so they lost the drone. Does it really matter? You know, it's not like there's something that's life or death on the drone that they have to get the drone back, because everything now just goes to your, you know, everything now just goes to your phone, right? So,
it's very low stakes.
It feels very, very low stakes. So I would say that there is a modicum of intrigue in here, but I think that the log line works against itself. And again, maybe that's like the nature of the screenplay. You know, for the first 90 pages, everybody's just talking about modern life and pop culture. And then the last 30 pages, they have to recover the drone. Or they are just in a mission to recover the drone while they're talking our ears off. And again, if it's really fascinating and really great dialogue, you know, if you're kind of doing like a Quentin Tarantino kind of thing, then maybe the dialogue is amazingly entertaining.
Right.
But a lot of people aren't going to take a chance on this, you know, unless you have some kind of provenance in the industry. A lot of people are going to say, yeah, I don't know if I want to read a script where people are discussing modern life, pop culture. So that's could be a little bit of a red flag. All right, we'll do one more here, and then we'll go and take our next 2 live people. All right, this is Johnny Will Young. Johnny Will Young. What's up, Johnny? I love me some Johnny. All right. I hope you're well, Johnny. I hope you're feeling well. I'm always thinking about you. I love you, and I love seeing you on the page. All right. Title. Now after that, now I'm going to have to trash his logline. No, Johnny, I love you, but your logline is terrible. All right, here we go. A desperate young deaf boxer struggles to overcome his handicap prejudice, a protective mother, an alcoholic father, and an ex-teammate turned rival determined to destroy the young man. Okay, so
that's a lot for him to overcome.
A lot for him to overcome. It certainly has everything
right
that we're asking for. Okay. But it's best when you can kind of crystallize all this. And so when you say that he is a boxer, we are, of course, immediately going to assume that there is a fight in this movie, right? I mean, that's sort of, that is our natural inclination that, you know, on his way to the championship, he has to battle his handicap, prejudice, protective mother, alcoholic father, etc. I would probably try to find a way to encapsulate that without having to list. I always say, try not to list in log lines. Because again, without the goal, he's struggling to overcome is internal, right? So it's better if he's trying to do something specific, like maybe he's trying to open a gym, right? You know, it doesn't have to be a big fight. I mean, that's what people are going to think, but maybe he's struggling to open a gym, but has to overcome all of this stuff. Whatever it is, give him something very specific to do. And maybe that's in the script and you just, for some reason, didn't put it in here. But that would be my suggestion. And then again, find a much easier way to say overcome handicap, prejudice, protective mother, alcoholic father.
And an ex-teammate. Yeah. So it's like 1, 2.
Rival. I mean, if I were going to include any of those things, I would include the ex-teammate turned rival. You know, you could even encapsulate handicap, prejudice, protective mother, alcoholic father into, like personal turmoils and an ex-teammate turned rival, like that kind of thing. That would be my advice.
Abusive family has to overcome an abusive family.
Even better. I love that even more. Because look, we're going to understand right away about his being deaf, right? So we know what goes into that immediately. So you probably don't even have to mention it. Abusive family and ex-teammate turned rival on his way to, the championship or opening a gym or running a marathon, or whatever. But keep in mind that he's a boxer. You made him a boxer for a reason.
So he needs to fight.
Otherwise, you can make him an accountant. You can make him a runner. You can make him a weightlifter. You can make him a lot of things. So always think about that. Cause and effect. Set up, payoff. Set up, payoff. All right. Thank you, Johnny. Okay, I see that Savannah posted. I guess she probably posted that original thing that we did last year.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Oh, cool. Cool.
I'm seeing that up there. Yes. All right. We're moving along. All right. Logline, a chubby soccer mom earns the nickname Agent MILF when she gets recruited to run a Secret Service agency and takes down a drug cartel and her cheating husband during training. Okay, so it sounds like it could be fun, and I don't know, you're thinking like Melissa McCarthy. I don't know. I mean, she comes to mind with that particular adjective, but I would just watch the way you word it, right? Because you basically tell us what happens in the movie. You tell us she takes down a drug cartel and her cheating husband, right? You don't want to tell us what happens. You want to tell us
what she's doing,
might happen. What could happen. That's
what she faces.
That's what you're inferring. Exactly right. So what is she facing? She is facing a drug cartel and a cheating husband, like that kind of thing. So just think about that. But otherwise, I think it's I think it's okay. Not exactly sure why she gets recruited to run a Secret Service agency as a chubby soccer mom. Maybe the logline could open up with sort of that backstory, like often in a sci-fi logline, you might have to
Right.
give us a little bit of the backstory, like for Minority Report, in a world where criminals are arrested before they commit the crime,
Right.
you have to have that information for the logline to make sense. I mean, we don't necessarily need it here. I mean, like, we can get that something happens in the screenplay, but I don't know. I would just think more about rewording it so we understand that she's facing a problem and not that she solves
Solving,
the
right.
problem. All right, let's go to Todd. You ready, Todd? You always have to give people a little bit of a warning because they might be like, I don't know, just doing weird stuff. All right. There he is.
Good day to you all.
What's up, Todd?
Howdy.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right, your audio is a little janky, so I'm
Right.
not 100% sure if we'll be able to make heads or tails out of what you have to say, but go ahead and give it a shot.
Okay, is that better?
That is much better.
Okay. All right, so title is Legion of the Apostate. It's a mafia crime thriller. And the logline is, called by God to holy vengeance, a pacifist priest joins forces with his Irish mafia employed brother to take down a human trafficking ring.
All right, just read for me one more time the very first part.
Called by God to holy vengeance.
Okay, and do you mean that literally or figuratively?
Literally.
Literally. Okay, so
Okay.
like God actually, like he hears a voice or something like that?
It'll be spoken to him through scripture, but yeah.
Okay, so my concern is that I had to ask that question, right? So because the second part of the log line doesn't give us, at least I didn't hear it, and maybe I need to hear it again, any clue that it was literal, right? Because clearly a lot of people who are people of faith, people, let's say, who are priests, that they get a calling, right? But that calling can come from many places. And even if it's from God, it just might be more in a spiritual way. It's not like God has actually come to them. So this is what I'm really trying to figure out. So when you say through scripture, do you just mean that he kind of reads the scripture and he just interprets it that way? And why is it important to, let me ask this question. Why is it even important to say that in the log line when it doesn't really pay off at all?
I'll say that again.
Okay. Why do you need to tell us that he's on a mission from God when it doesn't really pay off so much in the log line? Read the log line to me one more time. Sorry, folks.
Okay. Well, it's funny because I actually thought about dropping that first part. I just rewrote this morning because I changed the point of view character for the story. I'm in my third draft. And so it's kind of throws together short notice. But if I drop the first part, it would just be a pacifist priest joins forces with his Irish mafia employed brother to take down a human trafficking ring.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that is just cleaner, right?
Right,
I mean,
it is.
We know who the protagonist is. We know what the protagonist wants. We know what stands in the protagonist's way. And then you've got these brothers, and they're on two completely different sides of the world, so to speak. And that first part, it just doesn't add anything to the logline except confusion. Yes, Ramesh, do you agree?
Yeah, and you could probably just change it to Irish mobster brother instead of mafia employed, which is a little less clunky if you say Irish mobster brother.
I would agree.
All right. But yeah, it's much cleaner without the first part.
Yeah. And again, if he's a priest, we assume that he's a priest for a reason, right? I mean, priests are priests, and they just don't say, "Oh, I'm going to be a priest." It's usually because they have some kind of calling. So, unless God is like a character, or God turns the priest into a superhero, or there's some kind of element there, but that's not what your logline infers. So I would say leave that first part out. All right.
Awesome. Thank you very
All right,
much.
Todd. Thank you. Thank you for your time. All right, Jill, we're bringing you up. So we hope Jill is ready to go. And there is Jill. Hello, Jill.
Hello, Chris and Ramesh, and really excited.
Hi.
And this, you're so great, the both of you.
Oh, stop.
No, really, really. You know,
Where are
I
you?
saw you with the WGA, Chris, and you were doing that for us that night.
Yes.
I really
Yes.
appreciate all that you do for us. It's terrific.
And are you in Ireland? Where are you again?
No, I'm in Vero Beach, Florida, actually.
Oh.
I've been in America 50 years, and I'm an American citizen. But I go back every year.
You know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about the Irish group that I met, where it was like nighttime. It was like 11 o'clock at night, my time, but it was like daylight where they were in the background. I was very confused. I was like, why is it daylight? And they're like, oh, we have very long days here. I don't know. And you look like one of the women, but whatever.
I'm a throwback. There was a 1/16 Irish in my family, and it all came out in me.
You know something, but you do have a little, like a little accent, right?
Well, an English accent, nothing
English.
Like the Irish.
Yeah, it's all the same to the ugly American. Come on, we can't tell any of you guys apart. So, but all right, Jill, thank you. Let's hear your logline.
Okay. Fields of Grace is a feature-length romantic drama with a touch of fantasy set against the backdrop of the winds of war during the 1930s. And the logline is, a beautiful clairvoyant ingenue pursues stardom on the London stage in 1935 and falls into a complex romance triangle with her Jewish agent and leading man. She experiences a horrific vision predicting the Holocaust and must prevent them from staging Hamlet in Hitler's Berlin before all their dreams are shattered.
Okay. And you said this is a feature?
A feature-length romantic drama with a touch of that fantasy. That's the clairvoyant side of her.
Okay, so listen, I'll be honest. I think a lot of this is really intriguing. I really do. But I just think that the logline is too long, and I would just figure out a way to restructure it, and just sort of think about how to get that information out. It's obviously very important that you have this, struggling actress who's a clairvoyant, who foresees the Holocaust and must prevent the production of Hamlet or blah, 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 blah. Like, to me, those are the things that stood out that were interesting. And so you just might want to think about what is the through line of this story, because there's also the love interest who's her agent. And I don't know if that's the through line and the Hamlet stuff is the subplot, or if the Hamlet stuff is the A story and the romance is the B story.
No, the romance is definitely the A story, but it is a complex triangle in that it's really every kind of love is kind of viewed in the screenplay against the evils of persecution, including homosexuality, as well as what's happening to Jews in the Holocaust,
so
pre-Holocaust.
My advice would be that you have to find a way to streamline the complexity for the logline, right? Because I know that we want to throw everything in the kitchen sink into our logline because our stuff is so brilliant and we have so much to share. But ultimately, it's really about just streamlining it and finding the easiest way to say what it is that you need to say. So maybe, for example, just maybe we don't, for the sake of the logline, we don't have to know that it's her agent. Maybe we just need to know that he's, a Jewish lover, like that kind of thing for the sake of the logline. Because remember, the logline isn't the screenplay, and it is not expected to achieve the same things that a screenplay does. All right. So you have a lot of good stuff in there. You really do. It's just about trying to present it in a way that's more compact. Correct.
Is is the actor Jewish too? So she's in
No,
love with
no.
two.
The actor he's like blonde, blue-eyed, so he's very Aryan looking.
Okay.
And the love triangle is they're both men are wealthy, and she rebuffs one because he's a womanizer. The other person she falls in love with, she believes he's her one true love, and then finds out that he's Jewish, even though he doesn't practice Judaism.
Okay.
So he doesn't have any religion, but she's afraid that something will happen in Hamlet, in Berlin, and that's why she wants to try and prevent them from doing it. Of course, she fails, and so it's actually a tragedy at the end.
Oh, well, we love a good tragedy.
Right.
But again,
the leading
remember,
man gets drunk and causes Michael's identity to be reviewed by the SS, and they beat him up to death, basically.
But remember, your log line doesn't
Is
have
the first act. That's why I didn't get all
the
that
time
in
and
there.
space to tell us all of that, right? But you have plenty of good stuff. Just package it in a better, more effective way, is what I would say.
Okay.
All right,
And
more concise.
I'm actually pitching this in that 90-second pitch in the AFF competition.
Oh, very
year.
good. All right.
Oh.
So 90. All right, good. All right. So take our advice to heart then.
I will indeed.
And if you have 90 seconds, then you have the luxury of being able to offer up a concise log line and then filling in the blanks, for another 85 seconds. So, all right.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the feedback.
Our pleasure. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We love when people love us, don't we, Ramesh? All right, Rita, I'm gonna bring up one more. Rita, we are adding you to the stream. Are you there? Can you hear us?
Hey.
There she is. Hey, Rita, surprise, surprise, surprise.
Surprise from Paris. Hello, hello.
Paris. Oh, mon chéri. That's all I know. Okay, I'm all done. With my
Are you actually in Paris? Oh man.
Yeah, it's nighttime, so that's why I have my light is up.
That's all right. It's okay. So it's all good. It's all good. Listen, I like it.
I wish I was in Paris.
I love Paris, and I want to know as many people as I can in Paris. So when I go, I can hang out, because when I was in Paris the last time, I hung out with one of our members. She took me everywhere. I dragged that poor woman all over.
I would be happy
Paris.
to do too.
All right, well then
Whatever you
we're
want.
on. All right, we're on, Rita. Okay, what's your log line?
Well, actually, when I was hearing you guys, in the meantime, I changed it again from the first time I posted. And the title is called The Last Drop. And it's a nightmarish futuristic thriller about a resourceful single mom who tries to survive in a dry earth controlled by a big water corporation when she uncovers a terrifying truth.
All right, can you just say that last part? When she uncovers
a terrifying truth?
Terrifying.
Sorry for my accent.
No, it's okay. It's not your accent, it's the way I listen. What and just very, I'm just curious, because I'm sure that it doesn't belong in the log line, but what is the terrifying truth?
The terrifying truth.
In like one sentence. Can you tell me what it is in one sentence?
Yeah.
What the terrifying truth is?
She discovered that water all drinks come from human bodies.
Oh, it's Silent Green.
Silent Green is people.
Somehow.
Silent Green is people. Okay. Okay. So, but you say sort of terrifying discovery. When does that happen? That doesn't happen in the first act, correct?
No, the second one.
Okay. So, again, I know sometimes we like to cheat a little bit, right? Because we kind of read our log line and we think, oh, well, it doesn't sound that interesting, so I'd better throw in the terrifying discovery. Right. But ultimately, you're really just giving us what the story setup is. And hopefully the setup is interesting enough that you don't need to delve into all these other places. So, and you say dry earth, so we're in the future. So just read to me the log line one more time, because I think it's okay. Go ahead.
it's a nightmarish futuristic thriller about a resourceful single mom who tried to survive in a dry earth controlled by a big water corporation once she uncovers the truth.
Okay, and you know, is she going through? Is she sort of in? When does her investigation start? It starts like at the end of the end of the first act.
Yes, actually, on the first act, we see her going through the world and how she tried to
I get
survive
all
with her
that. I
kids. The
totally
second
get all
one,
that. But
and she finds a job in how do you say
right.
industry where you get
All right,
water
hang on. Again, listen. I know, like I know writers just want to tell their whole story. They want to tell every little bit of it. I totally get it. But it doesn't help me. So all I'm asking is, when does she say, "Wait a minute, there's something weird here. I'm going to start to investigate"? When does that happen?
Follow a truck
What
full
page?
of body.
What page number?
Around 60 something.
Okay, so that's midpoint.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So her investigation begins at midpoint, and so you're saying that the first half of the screenplay is basically her just sort of acclimating to this dry earth.
Yeah, somehow.
Okay. All right. I would say if you haven't written the screenplay, that's probably too much time, and you know she needs to discover that truck of bodies by the end of the first act, by page 30, I think.
Okay.
Just because it doesn't sound like you have a whole lot of stuff really of like substance. You know, there's only like so much world building that you can do. You know, we don't want like 60 pages of world building because people are going to check out on that.
Okay.
Is the script written?
It's okay if it's not written. It's
The
perfectly
outline,
fine.
not
That's
the
fine.
whole
That's
thing.
fine.
No,
That's
no,
fine.
no.
Listen, by the way, you know, for our contest, the logline does not have to be for a written script. In fact, I think you're smarter if it's not written yet. You know, because here you are at the stage where you know you're getting some feedback. And remember, don't necessarily take our feedback as like you know
gospel,
the word from up above, because we haven't read the screenplay and I haven't asked you enough questions. But that's just sort of a very general sense that I have. But I totally like the idea of being in a dry world and the idea that the water that they have is that you know she might think she might think that they're actually hoarding water, you know, and like that's the secret, but then the actual secret is even worse than that, you know, because you clearly want to mislead the audience into thinking that the secret is one thing when in theory it's actually much worse. You'll never see Soylent Green coming. So all right, Rita, thank you for giving us a little piece of Paris. We appreciate it.
Thank you to you.
All right.
Thank you so much, guys.
It was a pleasure. Bye-bye. You know, I actually like this because I love meeting our people.
Exactly.
Right? You know what I mean? It's just like, it's nice. We get to meet, like you get to see who, like, you know, who people are in this group. I love that. All right. We're going to jump and we're going to do one here. Title, A Bygone Generation by Andrew. Okay, Andrew.
Oh, wow. Like drama, subgenre.
Social realism. Okay. Social realism. What is social realism? What is that? What does
Socially
that mean?
conscious.
Social realism. Okay. That's probably some kind of woke term that my old crusty ass doesn't know yet. Sorry about that. All right. Two brothers take their revenge on the mob that stole them from their parents when they were boys. I think I heard this somewhere too before. Sometimes
I think this was on the page. He had posted this on the page. Wow.
Okay. Look, you know, like right off the bat, a lot of emotion here.
Right.
You know, you've got brothers. It would be interesting to sort of know why they were
the mob stole them. Right.
My guess is that's probably not revealed in the first act, and it would be interesting to know where their parents are and blah blah blah. But like to me, I think this kind of raises a lot of the right questions for me. Again, I'm not saying that the logline is written in a particularly powerful way, but I just think that there's a lot of stuff in the subtext that makes it interesting. Like
it's simple.
Yeah, it's very, very simple. And again, sometimes
Sometimes
simplicity that's the best way to go, right?
Right.
So, I think that two brothers, maybe an adjective with the brothers. Excuse me while I do other things. It's very rude. I think adjectives with the brothers. Maybe we understand a little bit more about who these brothers are, and that might give us a little more insight into the characters. And Sikhs take their revenge. Typically, that would be sort of reserved for the final act, right? And so I'm curious as to sort of what this means. Does this mean that they finally learned the truth and then they set a intricate plan into motion, a la like the old Mission Impossible TV series, where they're going to exact revenge? So to me, sort of structurally, I'm a little confused about this and stuff, but I like the emotion of it.
Right, because if they start taking revenge, let's say on page, 30, that's 60, 70 pages of revenge is a lot of revenge.
That's a lot of revenge, right? Again, unless it sort of builds, unless it's a small thing where like one of them has to pose as the boyfriend of the mobster's daughter, and it's this whole intricate thing that they execute a plan that will enable them to seek revenge. And then by saying something like that, I mean, that's very poorly written, but, execute a plan that then gives us more breadth and more scope to the logline. But again, that may not be the story. So, so this sounds like it would be a scene or two rather than a whole movie necessarily. But I would be willing to take a chance on it. All right. Pretty good, Andrew. I mean, it's really simple. It's like, people go through a whole kind of dog and pony show with these concepts, and often the ones that we're really looking for are the ones that are just really simple.
Right.
It's just find something that's simple and just offer up a hook to it.
When I read the logline, like, yep, I can see the movie.
Right. We already saw this one, correct?
Yes, we did see that.
I think that might be a rewrite, but I promised that we wouldn't do that. Sorry, folks. All right. A rudderless college student risks his life when he uncovers the murder plot of his mentor, quadriplegic professor whose younger trophy wife schemes with her dangerous lover. Okay, sounds a little sort of Hitchcockian, maybe, right?
Right.
You've got a rudderless college student. I think that's kind of a good word. And he uncovers the murder plot. I think the issue here, right, is that we don't really know what it is that he's doing. So he uncovers the murder plot.
And then what?
And then what?
Yes.
Does he set out to expose it, stop it? Why doesn't this go to the police? Maybe he does and they don't believe him, or whatever. I don't know. But again, it's just missing a word or two that enables us to see a through line here. Because this is a moment in a movie. Right, this is one scene.
Right, he finds out that the wife is trying to kill.
That's right.
Double indemnity.
Right, and what we're missing is the struggle. Right. What is the struggle? What is the problem that the character's trying to solve? I mean, we can assume that it is that he's going to try to stop this murder, but that's not what the logline says. I shouldn't have to make assumptions. You should just be able to tell us what the logline is. Right? Just who's the protagonist? What does the protagonist want? That's what's missing here. What does the protagonist want? We don't know what the protagonist wants. We know that the protagonist uncovers a murder plot, but that doesn't tell us what he wants.
I'm assuming the risking his life thing is that's where he's, he sort of decides to try and stop it, but it could be clearer.
Right. It could definitely be clearer. All right. Untitled comedy, a stranded, super-powered female alien tries to save the city and diffuse the resulting societal upset by working as a male alter ego in the dysfunctional office of a presidential candidate. Can you make heads or tails out of that, Ramesh?
No, and also I'm assuming by diffuse they mean actually to like diffuse something. Diffuse spelled this way means to spread it out. By the way, just that's my nerdiness coming through. But
okay, maybe this is why I'm going. Yeah, no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
But yeah, you're right. It's she's working as a male alter ego.
So she's a woman who is posing as a man.
I don't understand the resulting societal upset.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. She tries to save the city and then prevent a resulting societal upset, which is not, I don't think, a particularly good use of words here, by working as a male alter ego. Why is it that a male alter ego has to do it? Is it because everybody knows who the female alien is and now has to have a disguise like Clark Kent and work in the dysfunctional office of a presidential candidate? It's a comedy. And like, I guess maybe I kind of understand the comedy, but I don't really understand what it is that the character has to do. Trying to diffuse, I guess, the resulting societal upset, but that's vague.
Right, it's very vague. What they need to be clearer on what the resulting. Why is society upset? That I'm guessing it's because they know she's a stranded superpowered female alien.
I don't know, and there's too many I don't knows here. So there's maybe something potentially interesting. You know, the idea that there's like an undercover alien in the office of a presidential candidate.
Right.
I mean, but are we supposed to sort of worry, right? Because it's a comedy. So, you know, it's not like it's the Manchurian Candidate, right? You know, where you're trying to get this person close to somebody and because there's like potential danger here.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just not sure. So this isn't really coming through for me.
It's too vague.
It's a little too vague, yeah. The bottom line, this is a feature-length drama, a dedicated news anchor who believes TV news is a public trust. We've heard this somewhere too. Probably on the page, I guess. A dedicated news anchor who believes TV news is a public trust risks it all in 1988 to battle his new billionaire boss, adamantly refusing to replace fact-based news with infotainment and biased reporting in an effort to save journalistic integrity. All right. I mean, is this like, you know, this would be great if it were a true story, right?
Right.
You know, if it were like, I don't know, somebody battling Rupert Murdoch, you know, or somebody. But like this is fine, but it's too wordy.
It is wordy. It can be.
You're saying things in a very complicated way that could be said in a much easier way. This is about a TV news journalist who battles the boss, who wants to broadcast
turn news
fake
into
news.
Right.
Yeah, you know, or whatever. Right. You know, and just find an easier way to say it.
And if you want to get rid of the public trusting, you can just say a highly principled news anchor, and that'll get it across.
Much better, right? Yeah, highly principled news anchor instead of dedicated, because what you just said encompasses the word dedicated and public trust.
Right.
So this is the idea of learning how to combine, learning how to step back from your logline and say, okay, I'm using 8 words here. Is there any way that I can say this in 4 words or 3 words? And the answer is always yes. Always. You just have to keep looking for it.
I did it last night.
There you go. You're getting better and better and better at it, Ramesh.
I am. Thanks to you. But...
David, stop. David Ho, the Da Vinci Wars. All right, David, I know you've been dying to get this in. So here we are. When a maniacal intergalactic warlord threatens Italy in the 1500s, Renaissance artist Leonardo da Vinci must find a way to combat the advanced weaponry with his unproven inventions. I love it.
It's kind of fun. I like the fact that it's
I love it. Yeah, I mean,
historical fiction action kind of thing.
Yeah. You know, I totally get it. It's fun. I love it. You know, we all have those images of those Da Vinci sketches of things,
right?
And stuff. So this is a good logline. At the very least, it's a good logline. Whether you take to the concept or not is a different story. But I think it's a good logline. David, the wait was worth it. Good job. Anything else you want to say, Ramesh?
No.
Maybe I'm being, slap me back a little bit if I'm wrong. What do you think?
No, actually, I kind of like. I like the idea of sort of a.
You seem a little underenthused, Ramesh.
No, I like the idea of sort of a futuristic sci-fi thing set in the 1500s and how, because you sort of know what Da Vinci cannot use, because. Yeah. But it's
of course, who knows? Like,
right.
He could invent a laser beam and we all believe it, right?
Right. And, sharks with freaking laser beams.
So you kind of turn him into a little bit of a superhero, right? In a sense. So, good job. Like it. Right. I think it's good. It's fun. It's fun. I'm just looking for log lines because I do see that people are writing other things, and thank you. We love to read them, but I'm just gonna, because I get very easily distracted.
Oops, I lost the comments here.
Crazy ADD. All right, so it's a long one. By the way, Ramesh, we haven't had one log line get cut off today. I wonder if either our members are getting better or StreamYard has fixed the issue. I don't know.
This is long though.
To earn much needed sand dollars. What does it even mean, sand dollars?
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, let's keep reading. Detective Maximus Flounder agrees to take on a case to find Dashiell, a missing celebrity fish. Okay, so we're in, I get it now. Okay, we're in a fish world. Right. During the investigation, Max faces Morty Fang, Dashiell's duplicitous PR agent is Alyssa now, the notorious Orange Ruffy gang, and his ex-girlfriend Flo, who appears to be working with the gang. Max succeeds in finding Dashiell, but uncovers a dark and criminal operation that threatens the entire reef. Okay, so this is trying to be a little bit more of a synopsis. It's really not.
This is way too much information.
Right. First of all, remember, no names in log lines. Don't give us names because names don't tell us anything. Giving us an adjective and a noun is so much more effective. Because you can create conflict that way. If we hear an adjective like, again, the cop who's afraid of space has to go into space, right? Or the mediator, excuse me. We never did find out what that meant. But so no names and
it's a fish detective has to find a missing celebrity fish and uncovers a darker conspiracy. That's it.
There you go. It's like a fish noir.
Yes.
And you might want to sort of leading into it because the world is different. I would rather you take a couple of moments to say, in a world of sea creatures or, under the sea, or just set that up in 3 or 4 words. So we know where we are. Yes, we were able to figure it out, but maybe you'd rather
get rid of the sand dollars thing.
Yeah, exactly right. Because we understand that kind of thing. So I think what Ramesh said was good. He just kind of hit upon, he got rid of all the superfluousness and just went to the heart, the soul of it. And again, I think writers are afraid to do that sometimes because they're like, oh, this will seem too familiar or this will seem too boring. So let me jazz it up like Jerry Jazz. Let me jazz it up with all this other stuff. And because you think that it's going to accomplish something when it really doesn't. So, all right, that's our feedback. So speaking of Jerry Jazz, let me just bring in Jerry Jazz.
Oh.
This is Jerry Jazz. He's a great photographer who has been a member and lives in New Mexico. And I got to hang out with he and his lovely wife when I was in Albuquerque last month for the Albuquerque Film and Music Experience.
Where you left this behind.
What?
Yeah.
I'm coming back to get that. You got a log line for us, Jerry?
Yes, sir, I do.
Cool. All right, let's hear it.
This is from Songs I Learned in Prison, feature film.
I like that title.
Go ahead. Sorry.
When a young man fights to survive a 35-year sentence for kidnapping, his rehabilitation path drives him into a head-on collision with inmate gangs and prison staff who will do anything to maintain their corrupt and mutually dependent worlds.
Okay, and so is this set over 35 years?
Nobody serves their full sentence in the United States.
Okay, but just give me an idea of sort of time frame of this.
11.
11 years. Okay, is this based on a true story?
Yeah,
it is. All right, I would definitely put that.
You told me memoir doesn't sell.
Yeah, but the problem is this. No, I didn't say that. When did I say memoir?
Yeah, you did.
Sell? No, I didn't. I never said that. When did I say that?
You said it in New Mexico.
You were drinking.
I was drinking your drink.
Here's the thing, right? The reason that I say that is because because what you have presented is a generic
prison story,
right? It is generic. It is kind of the story of everybody who's in prison, right? It's not like he starts up a business and becomes an entrepreneur, or he does the opposite. He starts a pyramid scheme when he's in prison. It's just sort of the slings and arrows, ups and downs of being in prison, and so people are going to say, yeah, well, like I've seen that before. So if you were to say based on a true story, at least we get a little bit of sort of individualism from that element. Unless there is something that is more unique in his story that you could put forward.
He rewrote the state constitution to tax inmates, started a newspaper on the prison that when the governor shut it down, he wrote for the outside newspapers after that, won best columnist in the state, that kind of
stuff. So look, this is your story, right? You tell it the way you want to tell it. Personally, I feel, and I know that a lot of people who do what I do also feel the same way, which is we would always prefer to see a slice of the life to tell us a very specific story within that time. So a prison inmate struggles to get a newspaper, get a prison newspaper up and running, or struggles to change the
state constitution,
or
right,
whatever, something very, very, very specific.
Gotcha.
That's always the best way, rather than presenting the entire life. Because then you have sort of a hook, and it's interesting, it's based on a true story. Then, and then we see, this is going to be uplifting, but it's also a newspaper, so he's trying to sort of tell stories that are being, quashed by the administration or who knows why. But yeah, so that's what I would do. That would be my advice. And then you have a much more interesting logline.
Have you seen the movie Marshall, about Thurgood Marshall? It's a biopic, but it concentrates just on the few weeks he spent in Connecticut before he even fought Brown versus Education, where he tries to free a black man wrongly accused of a crime. And so the whole thing is just that, but it gives us a picture of who Thurgood Marshall is as a person.
Because ultimately, a smart dramatist sees a very interesting subject and can see that this person has 30 to 40 amazing stories in their life. but they choose one of the 40. The amateur dramatist tries to tell all 40 of those stories in 120 pages. That's the difference. All right. All right. So it sounds like you're up to a good start, Jerry. Good job. You hold that for me. All right. And you owe me a drink. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Give my best to your wife. All right, David Draper, I'm bringing you up. David's naked, so I'm just letting him put his pants on. He's putting his pants on right now. Let me. Okay. No, wait a minute. He's taking them off. That's a much better color on you. Okay, wait. All right. He's sitting down. He's sitting down. All right, there we go. There he is. What's up? You got to turn your mic on.
Oh, okay, there we go.
What's up, David? How are you?
How are you, both of you? Thank you so much, first of all, from all of us for doing these things. We so appreciate it.
We appreciate you being part of the group. And if you weren't here, we would have nobody to talk to. So the appreciation is mutual. So what's your log line?
Well, I've got a horror feature.
Okay, we like that.
It's called Camptastrophe.
Camptastrophe.
And the logline goes, when two rival camp counselors battle over who can scare the other's kids the most, they must come together to save everyone when their competing ghost stories come to life.
Okay, I think that's so. Is this for young adults?
I'm going for like a Fright Night Stranger Things kind of vibe.
Okay, all right. It feels okay. All right. I mean, Fright Night, you would say, might be for older audiences. Stranger Things, I don't know, might be for younger audiences, even though older audiences like it for nostalgia reasons or who knows what. I think for me, it would just sort of, because even the title, sounds like it would be something that we might see on Disney Plus, right?
It gives a younger audience vibe, the title.
It does give you, which there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It doesn't sound like the Terrifier, that's for sure.
Right.
It sounds like it's cute. So then you really give us the concept, right? Which is that you have these rival camp counselors telling scary stories, and then both of these stories come to life. And then what happens? And I don't think you're log.
When do they come to life? No, yeah.
Yeah, I have in the.
Do they come to life in the first act?
They come to the first act is them deciding to do the competition.
Not decide. No, it's not. No, that's one scene. That's one scene. You're not going to spend 30 pages having two people trying to figure out. So should we have the competition? Shouldn't we? Page 13. Shouldn't we? Page 20. Should we? Shouldn't we? That's like a 3-page scene. So that's not your first act.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Got that. And again, it's like anytime you say decides, that's a scene. That's not a movie, right? That's a scene for the most part. So you've not written this yet? It's still sort of an idea stage?
I'm on page 50, and my first act does end pretty early.
Like when? Like how early?
Like about page 19.
19.
But that's still a lot of pages to decide.
That's way too many pages to decide. But 19 is okay if your script is about 95 pages, right? But if it's 120 pages, that's going to be way too short. So, and again, it's like I don't want to, and I'm speaking generally, of course, but often if a first act is too short or too long, there is a ripple effect through the screenplay. And, but again, that's stuff that we can't tell from the log line, but we're asking these questions because the log line sort of doesn't really give us everything that we feel like we need. Read it one more time.
Yeah. When two rival camp counselors battle over who can scare the other's kids the most, they must come together to save everyone when their competing ghost stories come to life. Okay. So you do give us the what do they have to do, that's fine. And to your point, Chris and Ramesh, I do have this campground has a bit of a mysterious haunted past.
Of course it does. We would expect nothing less from the campground. Nothing.
There are no normal campgrounds.
That's right. All right, look, I think it's cute. I think that it sort of sets up some stuff like with the competing ghosts, let's say, or the competing boogeymen. Do they somehow, some way shadow or reflect our two human characters? Do they sort of force the human characters in some way to sort of be more introspective? I don't know what it is, but to me, it feels like there needs to be a more sort of interesting thing going on in the subtext in regards to the fact that both of these creatures have been created by both of these people. And so is the rivalry that's being played out in the real world also being played out in the spiritual world, and blah 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 blah. So
and how many ghost stories come alive? Just 2?
2.
Okay.
And the 2 camp counselors are also ex-lovers.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, I like that. All right, and then of course I'm not asking now, but we will understand in the screenplay why these things come to life.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Look, I think that it has potential. I think it is potentially cute. So maybe I have some reservations, especially because when you're bringing two ghosts into the story, it's a lot, right? Because you also have two rival humans, and then you have now 2 rival ghosts with 2 ghost stories. And a lot of writers can't handle one protagonist with 1 ghost story, let alone doing 2. So, right, so you have to really have a command your craft to be able to pull that off.
To your point, Chris, I made the female camp counselor a bit more of a higher protagonist. Is that a good idea?
Yes. So the script leans toward her.
Leans towards her, yes.
Okay. Yes, very good. I like that idea. All right.
If that's the case, you might want to do the fact that this female camp counselor who now has to join forces with her ex-lover. So that sort of tells us what she's up against too. So
yeah.
Or you could even potentially, and I'm just doing this in my head. You could even start the log line off with something like, after 2 rival ghost stories come to life, and then try to figure out the rest from there. Maybe. I don't know. Because the 2 rival ghost stories is also the hook, and it might be better to end with that rather than start with it. I'm not sure, but if this were me writing the log line, I would try it like 25 different ways. All right, and that's what you should do also.
Okay.
All right, good job.
Thank you both.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving along. I don't know if we're gonna get to everybody. I don't know how many are here.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet Six, but I don't even know what time it is. Oh my God, it's noon now. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no.
Holy Toledo. Sorry for anybody who is in Ohio. I didn't mean that. This is the first time I've even looked at the clock, Ramesh. I have not.
I did too. I just looked up and I went, whoa.
Isn't it crazy how I looked exactly at noon? My internal clock. All right, let's just go for a little while longer. I apologize, people. I don't know what to say. This is, this requires a little bit of thinking and talking. And God knows that I have the gift of gab. All right. Title, Sweet 16, genre, family, logline, Logline, not long. I see that a lot. Long line. Long line means it would be long, and we do not want a long line. Logline, Logline. All right. That's just FYI. A type A mother who didn't have a Sweet 16 party has to salvage her relationships with her entire family after she causes her daughter to cancel hers. All right. I mean, I guess it's, I don't know. I guess it's okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was leading somewhere else where, she was going to put together her own Sweet 16.
That's what I thought too.
And maybe it
clashes with her daughters.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's actually a better. If you really want to know the truth, I think that's better. But
So
yeah, so and has to salvage her relationship. It just sounds sort of very talky and stuff, and I don't really know what that means, to salvage her relationship.
It could be a little bit more specific.
Yeah, I think that there's probably a better concept in here somewhere. It's like she didn't have a sweet 16, so she tries to salvage it by, or either she's going to sabotage, or she does the complete opposite, right? Where she tries to throw the ultimate sweet 16 party for her daughter, like it's like ridiculous, like the most, and as a result alienates
the daughter.
Daughter. I mean, so there's probably like a gazillion things that you can do, but this sort of sounds a little dull to me.
It would be, kind of nicer if the daughter really doesn't want one.
Right, even that too. Right, that would be good. All right. Trice. It's a feature. When a young black football player tries to break the color barrier at a Midwestern university in 1923, he has to fight the faculty, his friends, and the KKK to keep his story from being erased just as it is about to start. 25 years before Jackie Robinson plays game, based on the true story of Jack Trice. Okay, so I mean, it's okay. I just wish that. Let me just read it. He has to fight faculty, friends. Again, it's like a list. I mean, these are the things that we would expect.
Right.
So it's like,
if you tell me he's a black football player in 1923, I know what he's up against.
Right, exactly. And so then the question is, what makes this different from everything else? Jackie Robinson gets his story because, he was the first.
Right.
Right. And like, that's how you pitch that. Because that's what sort of makes that story the superlative.
Right.
I mean, even if he really wasn't the first, I don't know, but yet he was considered to be the first, right? And so here, I don't really know what distinguishes this story from all the other young black football players in the 1920s.
And I don't know what he does to keep his story from being erased.
Right. Or really even what that means. I mean, because clearly I think his story was erased because neither Ramesh nor I have ever heard of this story, which bodes well for the writer. But it seems like it's the writer who's doing a better job of Pratt, because now we all know who Jack
Trice is.
Oh, I said thrice, didn't I? Sorry about that.
Trice.
I'm adding an H. It is Trice, excuse me. Okay. So yeah, that would be sort of my thing is, where's the hook? What makes this different? What makes this black football player different? Like, maybe this guy was your great-great-grandfather and that's why you want to tell the story, but that's not a good enough reason. That isn't a good enough reason for Hollywood. If you want, because there's so many of these scripts out there. So for me, that's what this lacks. It lacks that hook. What makes this different? Here's an interesting title. Oz Noir. TV pilot. In a gritty emerald city, the mysterious death of a powerful witch hurdles a private detective into the violent struggle for power between a populist politician and the gangland covens that run the town. All right, so me obviously being a Wizard of Oz fan, if I don't know, maybe you know that about me, maybe you know. I kind of love it, I kind of like the idea that it's this sort of noir thing. It's a little bit like that spec script that sold many years ago, and then I think they turned it into an Amazon series. The one that's like, it's a film noir that's set in the world.
Yes, I know the one you're trying to. Yes,
what the script was called, but it was a screenplay that then they adapted into a TV series.
I think Guillermo del Toro was involved at one point.
Maybe,
yes.
I can't remember. Yes. Travis Beecham was the screenwriter of the script again, and I'm sure that some people are even typing in the name of it. So that's sort of what that reminds me of. So like, I kind of think that for me personally, I can see that Ramesh is not moved by it at all, and me, because I love the world I am.
Yes, yes, but I do love detective stories though, so I kind of like the sort of twist on this.
Yeah,
it takes the Oz story and gives it a twist.
Yeah, and what's
That's
great
right.
about it is that Oz is set. Oz is in the public domain,
Right.
right? So yeah, and even if this doesn't make it sound all that exciting,
Right.
between a populist politician and the gangland covens that run the town, I like the word covens because obviously we understand
Right.
that there's witches and blah blah blah. But nevertheless, just the idea of a detective trying to solve the murder of the witch, and maybe we're even thinking that it's the Wicked Witch of the East, right? Who dies in the beginning. I don't know, but overall, I think that this is a very, just sort of as a concept, I think this is very strong.
Yeah.
So good job on that.
Yeah, there are a lot. I think once Oz went into public domain, the scripts started pouring in.
Yeah, you would assume so. After a botched spell, strands are in small town New Jersey. Fate worse than death. A novice witch from a fantasy realm accidentally unleashes magical pandemonium as she seeks the lost enchanted scepter that can get her home. All right, so it's a little Wizard of Oz-ish, right? So after a botched spell, strands are in New Jersey. It's kind of the Wizard of Oz in reverse. Which is good. A novice witch from a fantasy realm accidentally unleashes magical pandemonium as she seeks the lost enchanted scepter that can get her home. I mean, I might like something a little more specific than unleashes magical pandemonium. But overall, I think it's cute. Like,
it's very cute, actually.
Yeah, it's cute. Again, maybe the logline doesn't present it in the most powerful way.
Right.
But overall, it's cute. I'm very impressed today, Ramesh. I really am. I'm very impressed. Folks, I got to say congrats. People are paying attention, I guess. I don't know what's going on. Either that or everybody pitching today has never been to the inside pitch. And they're just okay. Left unsaid. All right, 1 hour Gothic mystery drama. After a sheltered, insecure wallflower reluctantly returns to her small hometown, she finds herself getting whisked away to the past to witness key points in her town's history and works to uncover the biggest mystery of all, the truth about her family. All right, it's I like a little bit of sort of the whisking to the past, but it makes her sort of reactive, right?
Right. She, except when she has, to
uncover the biggest mystery of all, right?
The truth about her family.
So it's sort of, she returns to the past to witness key points, but it should be less about that and that she is trying to solve a mystery,
right?
And she's whisked to the past, where she uncovers clues
about her family,
and that works to uncover the biggest mystery of all. Try to make that midpoint sound a little more active rather than sort of reactive per se.
Because the active part doesn't kick in till the very end.
Right, exactly. But interesting, I think if it were, again, maybe streamlined a little bit or thought through a little bit better, it might come through a little bit better. All right. I have a son who's anxiously awaiting for me. So we're going to do a few more. I apologize to everybody, but we can only do what we do. All right, Tina Love, I'm adding you to the stream. Unmute your microphone if you're there, and here you are.
Hi.
Nice to see you again. I also
nice to see you again.
Lovely chat in Albuquerque, and you are up the coast a little bit from me, if I recall correctly.
That's right. I'm in Santa Barbara.
I didn't want to say because I didn't want to reveal your whereabouts, but you are.
I don't mind.
All right. So, what do you have to tell us?
All right. Well, I got a couple. I don't know. I have two different ones. I don't know. You want something different than my usual? All right.
Pick the one that's best. Go ahead.
All right. So it's the Galileo one. Then I'll do that one again. Mm-hmm. And so I have the series log line and then the pilot log line.
Okay. Which do you want to do?
So, all right, let's do the pilot itself.
Okay, go ahead.
So, when his family life decays, and his gift of the telescope fails to impress the Doge of Venice, Galileo turns it to the night sky to become famous overnight for his discoveries and seeks new support for his genius in the Medici court.
Okay, and so you're saying this is the pilot. This is the
Yes.
series of the pilot. All right.
That's the
All right, so
pilot.
just very quickly, what is the series logline? Go ahead.
So the series logline is hungry for regard as an authority on the new science. Galileo walks a tightrope between fame and infamy, trying to support his dysfunctional family while avoiding the grim fate of his colleague who burned at the hands of the Roman Inquisition.
Who, I'm sorry, did you say who burned at the hand?
Yeah, his colleague was burned at the stake by the Roman Inquisition.
Okay, and what was the part that you said just before that?
So hungry for regard as an authority on the new science, to be the authority on the new science, Galileo walks a tightrope between fame and infamy, trying to support his dysfunctional family while avoiding the grim fate of his colleague who burned at the hands of the Roman Inquisition.
Okay, thank you. So, all right. Again, I think that you like to throw in a lot of information, right? And so again, just think simply. Who is the protagonist? What does the protagonist want? What stands in the protagonist's way? Think about the Da Vinci story that we heard before, which obviously is a completely different genre, right? But still, a very complicated man who did a lot of things, and that writer could have tossed in all of his accomplishments and all these other kinds of things, but just streamlines it and keeps it very simple. And so for the pilot episode, we really need to hear what it is that he's trying to do, just very specifically. And what you have there is it's what it is that he's doing in the pilot is it's not particularly compelling. He's trying to sort of convince people, or I don't exactly remember.
He's trying to convince people and find money, right? Find fundraisers. Find benefactors.
He's trying to find benefactors so that he can do his dream job. He wants to be an inventor, and
I get it. Right. I get it. Right. And which is fine. But again, I think the idea that, he's trying to find benefactors, like that's not all that interesting. Now, if he were playing a confidence game to try to, get benefactors, who's stealing from people, if he's, sleeping his way through, like whatever, something specific.
Kind of a bit of a con, even though he's a genius, he's a little bit of a con man.
So then maybe that's kind of the element that we need to hear more of, he perpetrates a little grift in order to, find benefactors, like that kind of thing, to make it a little different, because right now it just kind of feels like we're reading a passage out of a history book, which isn't really all that interesting, right? So you just want to make it interesting. What's the twist? Why do we want to watch this? What is it that we don't know about Galileo, right? That's the element that we want here. All right. And then just streamline things. That's it. Yeah. Got it? All right. Tina Love. I love Tina Love.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Tina.
Bye.
And enjoy SB. She's got it nice up there in SB. Must be nice living that kind of life. What can I say? All right. Mika. Am I saying that correctly? Is it Mika or Miko?
Miko. Weird Finnish name. It's our version of Michael.
Oh, very nice.
Yes. But in Finland, you'd say Mikko. But I just say Miko. It's easier for everybody that way.
All right.
All right.
Oh,
Thank you, gentlemen.
Oh, see, it's an O.
Yes.
Sorry, bad eyes.
No worries.
I'm getting a new pair of glasses. Same frames, but new prescription in like a week or two. All right. You're on.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. So I know we're short on time. I'll keep it short.
Past time. But
yes, I'll do a short one. 4 weekend warriors, thinking they're in a combat game, accidentally attack a real Mexican drug cartel.
Okay, so is that a comedy or is it
action comedy?
Yeah.
Action. Okay, so all you need to do then is sort of tell us, like, what they do, right? Or sort of like, okay, and then what? Because what you've given us is a concept. It's a good concept,
right?
And it's a fun concept. But so now they attack them, and then what? Is the movie over? Or, do they now have to struggle for their lives to
are they
cross the
captured?
border,
Right.
blah, 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 blah. So just give us sort of a goal, right?
Yes,
You've
one of
given
them
us-
gets captured, and then the rest have to use their combat game kind of experience to try to get him out.
Okay, but
when they don't actually have any real weapons or...
Right. Okay, but at what point in the script does the friend get captured?
About like
page?
25 pages in, 30 pages in.
Oh,
something
so
like that.
Okay, so that's the first act. So,
Right.
so I would include that, so I would say something like what you said, and then, and when one of them is kidnapped, they have to rescue him and get back over the border, like that kind of thing. Got it?
Yeah.
Just give us what does the protagonist want? That's what you're missing here. Got it? You're missing. What does the protagonist want? You are telling us that they are playing around with weekend warrioring, and then they accidentally get involved with a drug cartel. That's not telling us what is it that they want. So what they want is they want to save their friend.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. So just get that in the logline. I think it's great.
Thank you,
Yeah,
John.
It's fun.
So good. Yeah, it's fun. It sounds like
It really
fun.
is.
Right. All right. Good job. I like that. All right, John. John, I'm adding you to the stream.
Yeah.
There you are, John.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear,
All right.
John. Thank you.
So you definitely have given me some great advice already. This is a TV dramedy series. And so originally I was trying to write the logline based on the series, but it sounds like the advice should be to write it on the first episode. So it's called Iron Curtains. It's a hyper-stylized version of the Cold War, combining the best of art, fashion, glamour styles. But the gimmick is every episode is built around an insane but real-life, recently declassified CIA plan, with a running gag in every episode focused on an attempt to oust Fidel Castro, whether it's exploding cigars, poison soap.
All right, time out. This is not a logline, right?
No, I'm getting to that. Yeah. So the logline would be.
But listen, if you were to put that in just generally speaking, right? If you were to put that in a query, I might, I might stop reading.
Okay.
Or I just might ignore all that and just get to the logline.
All right.
So always try to make sure that your logline communicates as much as it possibly can without all of that window dressing.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So the logline for the series is: in the country he took an oath to protect but no longer recognizes, a mid-level CIA bureaucrat struggles to adjust to the new world order of the Cold War and counterculture, where the fact that current enemies were recently allies is less confusing than office politics and red tape.
Okay, I think that's fine. I would stop, right, Ramesh? You sort of, it's good, and then you get to that point where it takes a nosedive with all the, all this kind of mumbo
And the
jumbo.
details of it's not detailed; it's vague.
Yeah, it's vague.
Yeah.
So, all right, and then what's your pilot logline?
The pilot line I was just working on now was: under pressure to validate his budgets, the head of the CIA must show that his outside-of-the-box spy ideas are valid. He selects the cat wired with a microphone to be adopted by a Russian spy, only to lose many cats in the process.
A cat, as in like a cat, like a
cat. Yeah, the CIA did stick a microphone and a transmitter into several cats and tried to have them adopted.
Okay, so again, that logline is way too long.
Okay, all right.
It's just about trying to find a way to streamline things, and just and folks, don't get so like you don't have to give us such a sort of laborious setup all the time. Just give us like 1, 2, 3 words if necessary. You don't have to give us everything. This is where you must be judicious. You're not writing the screenplay, and we're not reading the screenplay. We're only looking at the log line. So what we don't know isn't going to hurt us. The problem is that when you're writing a log line, you know everything, and you feel compelled to have to put everything in it, because, oh, he has to know that. But no, we don't have to know it, because if we don't know that it's there, we're not going to miss it. Unless it's either who is the protagonist, what does the protagonist want, or what stands in the protagonist's way. But all the other stuff, yes, you might have to give us a little bit of information. But here, I would just try to cut to the chase a little bit.
The one thing I had about your series Logline was about a mid-level CIA analyst or agent. Your pilot Logline does not mention him at all. It's about the CIA director.
This is why he needed to give us that whole sort of thing in the beginning. And maybe he should refer to it as, an anthology series or something like that. Right. Because if you're not following the same character every week, and you're following different characters within the world, let's say, if that's the case, then you don't need 80,000 words to tell us that, because if you do, people are going to be turned off, because they're going to think, well, how do we even communicate that to an audience?
Right.
So if you just call it,
your protagonist doesn't
series set in, the Cold World CIA or something like that, and you're done.
Your protagonist doesn't show up in your pilot at all.
I was just trying to shrink it down. I thought it was easier to understand if it was the head of the CIA as opposed to the mid-level bureaucrat. So I was trying to shrink down the idea for the pilot.
But the question is, who is the protagonist of the pilot?
Right.
That isn't a rhetorical question. I'm actually asking you that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it would be the mid-level CIA bureaucrat. I was just trying to shrink the name down.
Yeah, but what? Yeah, but again, like, to me, that's so misguided, right? I mean, again, it's like if you're doing a logline for Jaws, are you going to say, well, maybe because I don't have a whole lot of space, I'm going to present the logline from the sheriff's wife's perspective? No, of course you're not going to, right? Or like, okay, I do a logline for Indiana Jones. I'm going to tell it from Karen Allen's point of view, because of course you're not going to, because the story only belongs to one person, and that's it. And so if you can even think about switching out, that worries me. That's a huge red flag about your potential storytelling there. So just something to keep in mind. All right, because again, it's like, a logline shouldn't be that flexible. You know what I'm saying? Because who is the protagonist? You should know who your protagonist is. If you're like, well, for the sake of this logline, I'm going to pick this protagonist rather than that.
No.
To me, that's a red flag, because I'm like, somebody doesn't know their story.
And we've had this before in our logline competitions, where someone will send in 3 loglines for the same script, and they read like different stories.
Yeah, they're and by the way, this time one logline for one script. Yes. I'm going to add that to the rules.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, John. Good luck.
All right. Thank you.
All righty. Oh, there's a real witch here. There's a real witch waiting for us. You see the witch there?
Yes, I did.
She's the official witch of the Inside Pitch. It's P, ladies and gentlemen.
It's P.
This is P.
I will say this, though. P is like one of the best people on the planet.
Well, you can't spell people without P.
No, she is.
I do want to remind all of y'all that Chris McQuarrie said each one of you owe me a drink, and I intend to hold you to that.
There you go. All right, P, what do you got for us?
Okay, it's a comedic short film called Tom Cruise Saves the Movies.
Tom Cruise, what the movies?
Saves the movies.
Saves the movies. Okay,
yes.
so this is nonfiction.
I know, isn't it awesome? So when a global pandemic threatens to shut the last movie theater on Earth, Tom Cruise gets a green light to make a summer blockbuster and save the industry. But he must make call time at Paramount Ranch. But on the way, he is kidnapped by an evil cabal of low-budget Scottish streamers and must outwit his adversaries to save the industry.
All right, so is this a real logline, or you just sort of
no? It's a real short film.
Okay, it's good. It's good. So I would just say it needs to be shorter.
Okay,
right.
It needs to be shorter. And
well, you already said some stuff here that's helped me a lot.
Okay, good.
establishing the world and that kind of thing, because it's the pandemic world and that kind of stuff. So I have some great hints to work on, and I appreciate y'all putting up with me. I love y'all.
No, come on. We love you.
love you.
So, that's fun, but just find a way to streamline it. Streamline. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, P. I really like that. I'm sorry about that.
I think we have 3 more people waiting on camera.
All right. Jay Smith, I'm bringing you up. Be prepared, Jay Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Jay Smith.
Hey, fellas, thanks for doing this. This is awesome.
Well, thank you for waiting, Jay.
Okay, well, I'll get right to the point. So this is a feature historic drama. The working title, which I hate, by the way, is The Sun. The log.
Is that S-O-N or S-U-N?
S-O-N.
Okay.
Okay. The log line is when the mentally disabled son of a quiet Scottish widower is caught up in an army impressment gang and sent to perform manual labor for soldiers fighting in the American Revolution, his wildly distraught father sells all that he owns and sets off on an epic journey to the colonies, where he ventures onto the battlefield to find his son and bring him home.
Okay, so what is the first thing that we're going to tell you? Let's see if you've been listening. What is the first thing we're going to tell you?
Probably too long.
Not probably.
Probably it's very long.
Okay, so what is an anti-impressment gang? What is that?
Army impressment gang.
Oh, army. Excuse me. I can't read my own handwriting. What is that? I'm an idiot. So what is it?
Well, it's more commonly known in the Navy, where they would basically go grab young men off the street and say, "You're in the Navy," and force them to do service.
So can't you just use the word recruited for the log line?
Yeah, I probably can.
Yeah, I would just do that. And
yes,
I get it. Well, it's not exactly the same, but you know something? If I don't know what Army impressment gang is, then you lose me.
Okay, got it.
So, again, this isn't your screenplay. It's a log line, right? You're trying to communicate your story in the most universal way possible without getting lost in the weeds.
Okay.
All right. And so basically, this is a story about a young man who probably shouldn't be in the Army, maybe, and is recruited, or maybe shanghaied. Maybe you can come up with a word like that, to get the idea that he's sort of yanked off the street almost.
Yeah, he's forcibly recruited.
There you go. Beautiful. Then he finds himself in the middle of the war, and his father has to find him to get him home.
Exactly.
Right? So I did that in a lot fewer words than you did.
And the protagonist is the father or the boy?
Yes. It's the dad. It's the dad's story.
Yeah, it's right. It follows the dad the whole time.
Right.
Okay.
So keep it really simple, okay?
Right.
So all you need to do is you need to just set up the fact that, he has a son who is emotionally disabled, or, whatever that term was that you used. He is shanghaied to the state. Where were they again? Were they in Ireland? Where were they again?
He's Scottish.
Scottish. Okay. So, a Scottish kid, blah, 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 yanked into the American
Revolution.
But we want to know and he's fighting for the Brits, I'm assuming. Yes.
Right.
Okay. And then the dad. It's basically Taken. It's basically Taken. It's like the kid is kidnapped, but he's not being sold into slavery. He's being thrown into a war of which he's probably very ill-equipped and maybe getting teased or beaten up or this. And so I think it's a great idea. And I think it can be really good. But I would just say, just look at a log line for Taken and do that. You see? And then ask yourself, gee, why did I feel compelled to have to, do this in 50,000 words when I could have done it in 12?
Gotcha.
Right? That's what all of you need to do, because we shouldn't have to sort of hack at it to get to the story, right?
Right.
But overall, I think, it's good.
Great.
Logline's not good, but there's a lot of potential there for you to make it a good logline.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. All right, Jay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, that was good, right? All right.
Yeah.
We are done. Oh no, we got Raj. Okay, Raj is going to be our last live, but this is our boy Raj. So we got to bring on our boy Raj. What's up, Raj?
Hey, Raj.
Yes, Ramesh.
Hey,
So good to see you.
hey! I gotta say hey, because you're Raj. It's Raj. Hey! You remember what's happening? I'm showing my age.
So I this is fresh, brand new idea I came out with just the other day. I wanted to come up with something that was contained, cheap, that maybe I could actually shoot for little money. Mommy could be the title. Thriller. A doting single mom of a 6-year-old daughter tries to win the heart of a man she's met online, except she's hiding a captive woman in her basement.
Say that one more time. She's what? She's
a doting single mom of a 6-year-old daughter tries to win the heart of a man she's met online, except she is hiding a captive woman in her basement.
Whose story are we telling?
It's going to be the woman
being held captive.
Yes.
So then I think you need to try to present the logline from her point
Yeah.
of view.
Okay.
Switch it around. Although,
Because right now it's the kidnapper.
And just very quickly, who is the woman?
So her daughter was actually killed in a DUI accident years ago.
Whose daughter? The one who was kidnapped?
The doting single mom, 6-year-old daughter. She's actually dead. It's a figment of the mom's imagination.
Bet
The
she's
woman
alive.
that's being held captive is the one who was driving the car and killed the daughter in the car accident. So there's
I just saw a movie about that, didn't I?
Have you seen the movie I Hate the Man in My Basement?
No, but I guess I should just forget this idea since I just came up with it.
I Hate the Man in My Basement has a similar premise.
I have to say, as a Black comedy, I kind of like the idea of a single woman who, on a dating site meets a guy and she's just dating him. Little does he know that she has another man chained up in her basement, or, then all of a sudden, I don't know. That's kind of funny. But point of view problem. But and then it's the woman's in the basement trying to escape, basically.
So and the man is invited over for a dinner. He's in the house, notices oddities. The daughter is not seen.
Right. Then it almost becomes his movie, right? Then it's his movie because
I've been kind of struggling with who's, it's so new. I've been trying to struggle with who's it could be.
Yeah. Well, you can obviously go all different ways, and which is fun.
It could be the guys, and then he has to try and save the girl. That's one.
Or you reverse it, right?
Right.
And maybe it's a guy that has a woman chained up, and it's a woman, and then she's got to save the day.
Yeah, it could be a daddy with the daughter with the woman in the basement.
Exactly right. Yeah, but again, there's just something. I don't know if I read it or if I saw it about. Was the story of somebody going after somebody who was the drunk driver who killed their child. And again, I read so many scripts, I don't know if it's a script that I read or if it's a movie or a TV show that I saw, but there's nobody being chained up in the basement. So that's your original element. I think at least. All right. Raj, always a pleasure.
All right. Thank you.
All righty.
Bye, Raj.
All right. Let's just do a couple more on the page. I know.
Are we done with all the people online?
We are. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
So, so we're not going to accept any more people into the queue. Sorry about that. All right. And everybody who's hanging around, you deserve medals. All right. TV pilot, Pinata Models. When a tight-knit Mexican family's father, Julio Escobar, dies suddenly of a heart attack, their Pinata Models business starts to unravel. He will leave the modeling agency to his youngest son, Oscar, pushing aside the oldest son, Hector. All right, this is not a long one. I'm already lost. It's already a pass for me. While his secrets are exposed, Pinata Models turns out to be a drug front. I like
I like the
title.
pinata. Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
And maybe this is a log line for the series, but it's just too complicated. Too many names. Folks, again, remember I said earlier, no names. This is exactly why. Look and see. It's confusing, right? It's totally confusing. When you try to put too much information into a couple of sentences, it is overload. I mean, if you would be overloaded by it, just imagine that. I mean, stop and think about any log line you've read here today or that you've heard that had too much information and you were overloaded. Then you shouldn't be doing it either, and don't think you're going to do it any better, because you're not.
And whose story are we telling? Because the father is dead, so we can't tell his story. But
is it the youngest son, Oscar?
It's
pushing aside his oldest son, Hector, and oldest sibling. It's a very complicated family.
Right.
It's a complicated family. I'm sorry.
It has touches of King Lear. King Lear set in.
It's more like King Smear, if you want to know the truth. Sorry about that. Thanks, babe. I don't know what that is, but that's not between us. That's not. I don't. There's no babe here. No babe at my address. All right. Miracles. We could use a miracle after that last line. Sorry. A disgraced priest seeking redemption travels to a bigoted small town to save an alt-right radio host after one of her scam miracle cures turns a man into a vengeful monster. We saw that somewhere too, I think, or at least I heard it somewhere. A disgraced priest is struggling for redemption. And by the way, they're always struggling for redemption. I mean, if it's a disgraced priest, like we get that immediately. So you probably don't even need that. A disgraced priest travels to a bigoted small town to save an alt-right radio host after one of her scam miracle cures. I'm assuming a scam miracle cure of the alt radio host.
Right, because turns a man into.
The thing is this, right? Is that for me personally, it's confusing because we're saying an alt-right radio host and then a scam miracle cure. Like if I hear an alt-right radio host, I'm not thinking of somebody who sells miracle cures.
Well, Alex Jones did.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I don't know anything about Alex Jones. Oh, he did sell vitamins or something.
Right, exactly.
Okay. So maybe that's what this is supposed to be. Okay. As you can see, I don't follow.
But the thing is, like, he's trying to save the radio host. Why? I mean,
why is she trying to save Alex Jones?
Right. She's a scam artist.
How come she's not trying to save the person who's turned into a vengeful monster?
Right. Exactly. That was my thing too. Isn't that the person who should be saved instead of, the crooked radio host?
Yeah. You know something? We might need to quit now because our log lines are starting to deteriorate a little bit. I don't know. We started off strong. So this is a little confusing for me. So I'm not exactly sure what it is that the priest is trying to do. Why save an alt-right radio host?
Right. I mean,
aren't there like starving kids that need to be saved? I don't know.
Right. And really, it's tough to gain audience sympathy for
this plight. Yeah. So
right.
I don't quite get that. All right. One last one. I don't know what this is. It doesn't look like a log line, so I'm skipping that. All right, here. This is the last one. Sorry, folks, but here we go. Kip and Bernie, a professional roller derby player with a traumatic head injury, teams up with a homeless psychic hitchhiker to enact revenge on her abusive ex-husband. It's a short film. A professional roller derby player with a traumatic head injury teams up with a homeless psychic hitchhiker to exact revenge on her abusive ex-husband. There's just a lot of information in here. What does the sort of professional roller derby player have to do with this?
I'm guessing it's the roller derby player's ex-husband and not the psychic hitchhiker's ex-husband.
And is the head trauma from roller derby or from the abusive ex-husband? So to me, that's also.
And why does she need the homeless psychic hitchhiker?
Right. What does the psychic have to do with anything?
Right.
Why can't she just, skate over to the abusive husband and kick his ass? So, so there's some things in here that aren't. It's potentially interesting, but it doesn't sort of give us enough, and it's a little unclear. So, so you might want to work on that. All right. Ramesh, let's face it, we could go on for days and days and days. And by the way, if my son weren't here, I absolutely would. But I'm also having guests.
Oh, I have
Yeah, you know something, people, we have things that we have to do.
I have books to read for coverage.
Even though we put you in the inside pitch, for you are truly at the top of our list, truly. And you know something, we're going to be doing more of these. So during contest season, keep an eye out, because we'll do another one of these for fun. We will also, I'm thinking about doing a pitch workshop, actually just sort of helping people to pitch, sort of learning how to pitch. So I think we're going to do one of those. And we'll also do some pop-ups in our audio rooms on Facebook. And maybe we'll do some pop-ups. Maybe we'll also make an announcement. We'll probably do a little bit of an autopsy during the Logline contest. Ramesh and I will jump in and talk about what it is that we're seeing in the entries and stuff. So there's going to be a lot of activity going on between now and the holidays. So please stay involved, stay tuned, visit the page. Remember, this contest is free to enter. It doesn't cost any money. So there's no reason why you shouldn't. Look for the announcement tomorrow that will have all of the rules and, most importantly, the email. It's not the same email from last year, by the way. It's a new email. So you'll need that to submit the log line. So look for that announcement coming tomorrow. And Ramesh, what do you want to say?
Well, nothing. I mean, we'll try and do. We could try and do something when you're here in Pittsburgh. Maybe do something live.
Yeah. Well, if I ever get to Pittsburgh, I still haven't heard from them. So
I saw your name on the list.
My name's on the list, but you know, I've got no way to get there yet. So I'm waiting for that. But yes, maybe if we're in Pittsburgh, we'll do a live thing. Maybe perhaps that would be the weekend of like the 18th or the 19th.
Right, the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Correct. And just FYI, so we start to accept log lines tomorrow, and then the 10 semi-finalists, will be announced the day after Thanksgiving, the Friday after Thanksgiving. And then that's when voting begins. That's when you will begin the voting process. That goes for about 2 weeks. But again, you'll read all about that tomorrow. So on that note, for everybody who stuck this out, who came from the beginning, we cannot do this without you. We wouldn't be doing this without you. So from Ramesh and Steve Enlow and myself, we want to thank you all. Please, again, keep an eye out. We're going to do more live events, probably more stuff going on in the page in the next month and a half than all year long. So make sure you visit so you don't miss out on anything. All right. So Ramesh, as always, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And
thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for everybody who submitted log lines. Again, apologies for those that we did not get to. All right. Thanks.
We went through a few.
We tried.